This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing a personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines. If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Why is it that you get locked out in the worst moments of your life?
Where are my car keys? Man, I can't find my house keys.
In those frustrating moments, you need a locksmith you can count on. A. Lenny Locksmiths in South Florida, from Miami to Port St. Lucie. In Central Florida, A. Lenny locks it down in Orlando and Tampa Bay. Lockouts or lock changes for home or business. Car key replacements and programming all model cars. 24-hour service. Call them at 855-869-5625. Go to the website at alennylocksmith.com.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full-service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
For over 16 years, EJDConstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDConstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDConstruction.com.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Good morning, boys and girls. I hope you all are doing well out there. Hope you're hanging in there. We are doing the same. Sean Stanley, of course, the man, the myth, the legend that masters this program every single day. Yeah, I'm still kind of getting situated. Man, I went to sleep last night like at 7:30. I've had like these 2 days of just like throbbing headaches, you know what I mean? It's just one of those deals, and last night it just got really bad, dude. And I used to have migraines. It's not a migraine. It was just one of those things that I don't know what it was. Didn't sleep well. Was it the Sunday night into Monday, and so it's one of those. So I didn't watch anything last night. Did not watch the Colts Steelers game. I don't think I really missed a lot, although apparently Jeff Saturday's handling of the clock wasn't good or something. I don't know. I have no idea. I did not watch it. I haven't even watched the highlights, to be quite honest. Not really that I'm motivated. I don't think I'm going to get a lot of calls, or not calls, but questions about Colts and Steelers or anything like that. But yeah, quiet night last night. I needed a dark room, and just went into that dark room and just crashed out, and it's better now. It's kind of like you ever had a bad headache that goes away, but you kind of feel it lingering in the background, kind of, you know what I'm saying? You've all had it. It's happened to all of us, right? That it's gone because you don't feel the necessarily the pain or the throbbing or anything, but it's kind of hanging out deep in the background of your head. You're feeling it there. And it's one of those like, yeah, I'm not completely gone. So watch yourself, that kind of stuff. So, yeah. So we had an interesting night last night, hitting the bed early overall. Anyway, a lot of things to talk about, a lot of people to talk to today. Ira Winderman will stop by at 10:30. Cameron Wolf will stop by at 11:30. We'll talk to Manny Navarro at 12:30. So we've got 3 interviews today. After the show, I am headed over to what's it called? Hijinks Sports Grill in Boca. So if you happen to be in the Boca area, West Palm, you want to come on out and hang out, meet me out there. We're going to be out there. I should get there around 2:30 to no later than 3 o'clock. I don't think, because I know it's going to be easily an hour drive. going there. So once I get off the air, I'll be headed out there. So if you live in the Boca West Palm Beach area, I'm going to be out at Hijinks right around, I would say by 2:30. I should be there. No later than 3 unless there's some kind of traffic or something like that. Waze tells me, no, don't go this way. Don't go this way. Anyway, so appreciate all of you. Don't forget to smash the hell out of the like button, by the way. It's very, very important that you smash the like button and get us going there. I will do a show with Doug Lee. I think it'll be posted on Thursday. All right. So new show with Doug this week. The voice is getting a little better. And so I guess that was a good thing also, falling asleep at 7:30, that I was able to rest the voice even more. And that's actually good because I'm trying to recover from the voice, and then this damn headache hits you for a couple of days, and you're like, yeah, Mike Honcho says, good morning from Houston. Please be thankful where our team is at. This local team is in shambles. Yeah. Two Extreme says, Big O, the wings there are actually very good. Joe Shad was actually right. The Sriracha wings, very good. All right, I will definitely check them out. Two Extreme. Okay. By the way, did you tell them when you went there that, you mentioned the Big O show and all that, make sure, you go to Caneswear, mention the Big O show. You call EJD Construction, mention the Big O show. You call Sloman's, by the way. Hey, and for our friends at Sloman's, we always talk about security. And it doesn't fly here, but when it comes to heating oil for your home, and you want to save maybe hundreds of dollars. Yeah, by the way, Sloman's does an amazing job all throughout the Northeast. 866 Oil Deal, and tell them again, Big O sent you. All right, and they got fixed prices that are going to save you hundreds. So do it now, and all the Big O loyal listeners. All right. So if you think you're paying too much for heating oil up in New York and New Jersey and all those other areas in the Northeast, we're in 14 different states. So check out our friends at Sloman's. I know that's not something we need here in Florida, but for our friends up north that you may be, paying a little too much for heating oil and you want to just call to compare, man. That's all you do. 1-866 Oil Deal, 866 Oil Deal, and just, find out what you're paying, what they're offering. You start saving money. That's all that matters, right? Who cares? True Fin Fan wants to also tell us that he farted. Okay. So it's very important that you know that. All right. How many of you, by the way, fart and lock the windows to make everybody suffer? That's the move. That's what you want to do. You want to hotbox their asses. Let's see. Big O, if you had your choice, who would you rather play in the Super Bowl, 49ers or Eagles? I think they're an interesting story to be told with both. Knight, I don't care who they play, to be honest with you. The fact that they're in the Super Bowl is all that would matter to me. They can beat both of those teams if healthy. They're going to need Teron Armstead. They're going to need a line that can hold up, because you saw without Teron Armstead how it completely changed the entire landscape of the game, and so they're going to have to fix that one way or another. Big O, I actually did. They only acknowledged it by saying, oh, that's cool, nothing else. Yeah, well, I don't think the girls really know. It's not like the owner and the manager knows us. But I don't know if the girls know, but they've got to hear it often. Yeah, they're not going to, how it is. It's like when you go to the stadium or the arena and then you're asking a security person about some kind of question. They're like, oh, I don't really know. And it's because, you only find out what you're told, that kind of stuff. But it's good for them to hear it because eventually it'll get back to the man. Hey, they mentioned Big O. They mentioned Big O. And then that kind of gets to it. You know what I mean? So you go to walk-ons. Nature B, well, obviously you got to use our code Big O on Nature B. Just like on Red Recover, you got to use our code so you can stay out of pain. That always helps out. Although sometimes people buy stuff and they don't even mention us. And that's the way it goes. Let's see. Cali is going to be cold and wet this weekend. Bring your cold weather gear for the West Coast tour. Fins for life. Well, not in the South, right? It's not going to be cold and wet in Los Angeles, right? I mean, usually it's not wet in Los Angeles. There you go. Now that is what we're talking about. The Fan Zone Meet the Legends. There you go. Saturday, December 3rd. There you go. By the way, Friday night, we are no longer broadcasting the Larry Little Legends dinner, unfortunately. I'm going to be emceeing it. So instead, we're not going to be I can't do the show and MC at the same time. So they want me to MC the event instead. So we're not going to put it on YouTube. And I apologize for that. But hey, listen, there's a bright side to this. Sean Stanley works his ass off. He gets the Friday night off. He gets to relax. And then he gets Saturday off. And then he's back, grinding on Sunday with me. So he gets to chill at least. So there's some positives to that. That man works hard. Good morning from Houston. There you go. What else do we have here? Lori Lofi says, I think the NFL moving dual threat QB because they don't have to rely on finding big money linemen to have a pocket QB. You still have to have the linemen, Lofi. You're still going to have those guys. Now, they are moving to a more mobile quarterback, yes. And as time goes on, the mobile quarterback will become much more, accurate than what you're seeing from certain mobile quarterbacks that you have now that still are not accurate, like Lamar Jackson. Did you see? Did you see the whole crap that Lamar Jackson's in the middle of? So apparently, they were in the red zone 5 times, and typical of the Ravens this year, they don't really score a lot of touchdowns because Lamar sucks. He's not really a good passer. It's just not. I don't care what anybody tells me. Just watch the games. Not a good passer. And because he's not a pure passer back there, and he's a phenomenal athlete that can fly like the wind, yeah, he's a difficult matchup. And because he's a great athlete, he'll make some throws that'll wow you. There's no doubt. But if you want consistent quarterbacking, you're not going to get that ever from Lamar Jackson. He's been years in the league now. You know what I'm saying? And so somebody, after the loss this week, again, to the Jags, because, of course, that offense is, limited because of the passer. You look at it, some guy went after him on Twitter, goes, a guy asking for $250 million. You can't sign a guy like for $250 million that can't get you in the end zone when you go 2 of 5 and you're settling for field goals, which, by the way, he's 1,000% right. It's not about field goals. You got to get 7s in this league. You got to score a lot. So Lamar, which is probably, it seems like it's out of character from him, which is what John Harbaugh said. And he told the guy to basically go eat a male instrument. And, what was it? What was the quote? Never smelt a football field, never did shit, but eat a D. And then he deleted the tweet. And then Jamison Hensley, he, obviously called Lamar out because obviously that is a racial slur in a way, right? A bias slur, really. And yeah, so now he's in that hot water, and now here's Harbaugh. He tells people, he was talking about in the press conference. I tell my players all the time to stay off social media, especially after losses. And, he's talking about how this is out of character for Lamar and all that. It's frustrations. I mean, Lamar, unfortunately, he has not handled this the right way. And it all really starts with not having an agent, which is like a catastrophically stupid ass move. And he's paying the price for it. And he put the gamble on himself. He can't ask for the same kind of money that other quarterbacks are getting. I wouldn't give it to him. I think it would be incredibly stupid to give it to him. This is an offense that doesn't do anything in the playoffs. Nothing whatsoever in the playoffs. And why? Because you have a limited passer. And there you go. And now he's, using slurs that he should not be using. What are you going to do? It is what it is. Lamar Jackson. I wonder, I've said this before. This was the best thing that could happen to the Ravens. Now, it's up to them to find. We're going to find out how smart or stupid the Ravens are. Okay? We're going to find out about that very soon here in the offseason, because he's going to ask for the guaranteed money. He's going to ask for the money that other passers are getting. And quite frankly, you'll be stupid to pay him that and give him those kind of guarantees, especially a running quarterback. A running quarterback, that's giving them that kind of guarantee. That's crazy, dude. It just is. You watch Jalen Hurts, and he's improving. Not there, but he's improving as a passer. That's one of those guys also. And I will say the same thing about Justin Fields, that I'll say about Jalen Hurts, that I'll say about Tim Tebow, that I'll say about Lamar Jackson. You can run all you want, but if you don't learn how to pass, I got nothing for you. You're going to be Lamar will always be a great regular season offense because it's so hard to prepare. But eventually, once you get to the playoffs, the best defenses are there, and they're going to shut down your run, and they're going to say, beat us with your arm. You need to be accurate. You need to hit all the small windows now. Let's go. And you can't. And that will become a problem for him. And that's why we'll see if Baltimore's dumb enough to give him that kind of money that he's asking for. And when they say no, he's going to obviously walk. That's what's going to end up happening. What else do we have? Big O, there's a YouTube channel by Shipley. He uploads all the game. Get to see some vintage Marino years, even though the Jimmy Johnson years, major what ifs. Yeah, well, Jimmy Johnson was a joke on offense. That's why. Jimmy Johnson, as great as he was on defense, getting that defense, he was that pathetic on offense. Let's just call it like we see it. Problem is, in this town, we don't have enough people that are honest about Jimmy Johnson. Like, he underachieved at the University of Miami. Bottom line, he lost a title that he had no business losing whatsoever. He showed shitty coaching for 2 years by allowing Vinny Testaverde to piss away the Sugar Bowl and the Fiesta. And with the Dolphins, he talked all this shit about being special, and he did a nice job putting together, a couple defensive players that was a nice foundation for them for a long time. But he was terrible on offense. I mean, brutal, dude, on offense. His Dallas run is impeccable. You can't poke holes into that. Everything he did in South Florida, there's all kinds of freaking holes. And people put him up on this pedestal that, whatever, man. Whatever floats your boat, go ahead. Knock yourself out. But he wasn't that special here, dude. He should have been a hell of a lot better, and he wasn't. He was special in Dallas, not here. Okay? Not here. He underachieved here in both places. If you want to be honest with yourself, if you really want to call it like you see it, okay? He had a lot of flow in him because he didn't get his way like a petulant child, and Wayne made him keep Marino, and instead of helping Marino finish strong, he made life for Marino the worst he could possibly make it. He will never get a break with me. Ever. Okay? Ever. Not even close. But there's a lot of hot freaking air in this town, and especially by some of the media members. They blow Jimmy like it's out of style, dude. I mean, really, it's a joke. It really is a joke. Florida Boy 512, thank you for the love on the super chat, my friend. Good morning from San Antonio, Big O. Tua is elite. We need to build a brick wall in front of him on Sunday. Yeah, I don't know how they're going to do that, my friend. Like I said, max protect. But I'm not guessing anymore what the hell Mike McDaniel's going to do. I'm done with that, bro. This past week was the perfect week to run the hell out of the ball, and it worked. He was passing the hell out of the ball, and he was right. So I can't argue with it. That what turned everything around was the stupid injuries, like always. What has the storyline of this entire season is phenomenal. You're 8-3 in spite of all the injuries. That I'm telling you that if most coaches that have been here had all these injuries, you would be 3-8 or 4-7, something like that, 5-6 maybe, something like that. Because most of the coaches wouldn't have figured out the offense. Most of the coaches wouldn't have figured out any of this stuff. And yet, these guys are finding ways to win every week. And now it becomes an even bigger challenge because we see the difference without Armstead, just like we see the difference without Tua. And now we got to see what happens without Armstead. He's got to get creative. But you think about this, the amount every week they're losing players. Every week the front office has to go find guys off the street. Every week the coaches are elevating somebody from the practice squad because they've got to start getting them ready to start contributing to the team. I mean, it's crazy, man. It's so impressive this season that you've overcome all this adversity and you're 8-3 and you're one of the best teams in the NFL. A lot of times teams that get to the Super Bowl, they get a lot of breaks and they stay healthy. And this is not one of them, unfortunately. But man, would it be nice if they can start getting healthy and have some luck down the. I mean, all they've had is bad break after bad break after bad break after bad break. Nothing is easy for them. Nothing has been. In fact, the coach said that in his locker room speech. That apparently it's not going to be easy. I'm paraphrasing or something, and the guy started kind of laughing in the locker room. Like, well, we know the hard way is going to be the only way we know how to go, or it was something like. I'm paraphrasing again. I don't know how he phrased it, but again, it's in one of those quick-witted, dry humor type of things that he does, and you could tell he had the locker room going with that because. That's what this is why I laugh at the people that slam Josh Boyer. Because I don't know how you pick on Josh Boyer when all that guy gets is injury after injury after injury. And he's rolling in new players and new players and new players. And somehow or another, third stringers are productive for him. Because that's where you're at right now in the secondary. All over the place. Second and third stringers. Maybe even fourth stringers sometimes. It's out of this world what's going on with the Dolphins. And this is one, not only is 8-3 fantastic, not only is it awesome to see where Tua is at right now and playing so well, but it is just impressive to watch the coaching job that has gone on. And for me, Mike McDaniel is the coach of the year because he has changed an entire culture. He got his quarterback on track. His team is one of the best teams in the NFL, and very few teams have had more injuries than the Miami Dolphins. So for me, that has to go down as one of the best coaching jobs, if not the best coaching job in the NFL. We'll see if he gets that kind of love. We'll see how they finish, because obviously, you know how this league is. In 1 week, you're thinking Super Bowl. The next week, you're thinking you're in the cellar. And that's because there's only 17 of them. Jamie says, Big O, people complaining about cold weather here in California are Californians. It will be a bit chilly, but not cold. Mid-50s with the train in the morning. Game time should be perfect. Yeah, but you remember, Jamie, if it's South Florida pussies going over there, 50s for us is like, like we're in Buffalo. By the way, those videos up north of those people shoveling all that snow. I saw a video yesterday of a guy shoveling snow out of his house, his walkway, and it's like 7-foot walls next to him. And then they're all shoveling the sidewalks, right? And then you look down the street and down the other street. He shows the camera on both ends, and it's 7-foot walls all the way down with everybody cleaning out the sidewalks. I don't miss that, dude. I don't miss that. I don't want to be in that. I don't get. I understand why we're the 6th borough now. Over the years, you're like, yeah, we're the 6th borough. And there's a reason why you folks up there, once you get to your pensions, once you get to a point that you've had just enough, I'm out of here. I'm going down south. I'm moving to Florida. I could not take one winter of that. That would drive my ass crazy to live in those kind of conditions. Brutal, man. Big O, imagine if we beat the Niners, Chiefs lose against the Bengals this weekend, we take over the number 1 seed. How about that? Also, the Pats go against the Bills this Thursday. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That'll be interesting with the way the Patriots are playing defense. The mistakes that Josh Allen has been making throughout the year, forcing the issues at times. You just wonder if they can keep it close and make it interesting. I think it is in Foxborough, too. So that would be also a nice challenge for them, for the Bills, that is, to go in there and win that one. Big O, not taking it away from the 49ers, but taking a look at their last wins. It was against some unimpressive teams. I think this game is going to be a lot closer. I have the Dolphins winning. Well, I hope you're right, but the Niners are impressive. They've got an impressive group of offensive players. They got a hell of a defense, that front seven, and led by Bosa, and Bosa will be a load, my man, an absolute load to handle. This is not going to be an easy game at all. All right? Not at all. And Shanahan has to also know McDaniel too, because we all talk about how McDaniel will know that team. Well, they work together. They've hung out for 15 years. He knows how he thinks too. So that's going to be also an advantage for Kyle Shanahan. This will be a very, very difficult game. If Armstead was playing, I would feel much better about the game. But right now, I don't know what the hell is going to happen at offensive tackle and how they're going to control that. Like I said, max protect. Good morning from New Mexico, Big O. I'm looking forward to meeting you in Arizona. Yes, sir. Looking forward to it. Party at my house in Arizona. I lived up north. I'd just use a flamethrower. Oh, man. No doubt that Mystic Mike and the staff adjust to the Armstead injury. I hope so. Won't be that easy. Don't make it sound like it's easy to replace. It's impossible to replace Teron Armstead. Mike Dizzle, thank you for the love in the super chat. Can I ask a question from around the league? Does Lovie Smith get fired? They're really going to let that GM there pick a third head coach in 3 years. Mike, teams do this at times. Ira Winderman, by the way, is coming up, and he knows about this kind of stuff. And a lot of times when teams are in transitions, they cannot get a top flight coach at that point, usually. And so what they do is they try to get the stopgap guy, like in the expansion years, that you'll get a coach at the beginning of your franchise to kind of set the foundation. And they did that with Ron Rothstein, and they did it with Renee Latchman. And then you get Jim Leland, and then down the line after Kevin Lockery, you go and get Pat Riley. You finally get that coach that can put you over the top. But a lot of times when you're in transition, like the Houston Texans are, a great coach is not going to want to take over a really rough situation the first couple of years. So you hire the Lovie Smiths of the world. I hate to be brutally honest, but that's just the way it is at times in sports. So you will get the guy that will take the bad job because there's only 30 of those bad jobs, or jobs, period. Some of them are bad. And you have to take that because this is how you kind of prove yourself, if you can prove yourself. And more often than not, they are in difficult situations. And if you're Mike McDaniel, you're taking the job because the Dolphins have been a mess. They don't know, even though as much as I believed in Chris Greer, it doesn't mean a lot of you did. And a lot of people in the media didn't believe in him, but he's taken the job. The owner has been inconsistent at times, doing all kinds of stupid shit. You still take the job. And then Mike McDaniel now comes in and he has proven himself. So now he has an opportunity to move forward, and maybe build his career. But a lot of times when you're in a tough situation or expansion or where Houston is at, you're usually getting a stopgap guy to kind of reset the foundation, and then you move forward. So make the long story short now, yes, Lovie will eventually get fired. He's only there for stopgap purposes. Once they feel comfortable and they've got their picks and the players are getting better, they will move on from Lovie and they will find a better coach, because that's what Lovie Smith has been throughout his career. Fantastic coordinator, so-so head coach. All right. Let's get ready. Ira Winderman. He is on the road. He is ready to rock and roll. We go to Ira Winderman. They take on the Celtics on Tuesday in our Acura Pembroke Pines Miami Heat, an NBA report.
Heat fans, time for the best insight of your favorite team with insider Ira Winderman, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. It's the Acura of Pembroke Pines, Miami Heat and NBA report. Here's Ira Winderman.
Good morning, Ira. It's a cruel world, but teams do use the stopgap coach.
Absolutely.
To get to the next level, right?
Yeah, I mean, and you see that all the time. You see Pat Riley leaves, Don Nelson goes in, fails with the Knicks, Jeff Van Gundy steps over. What's the expression? You don't want to be the coach who follows the legend. You want to be the coach who follows the legend, because it's
Amen.
really hard to come in. I mean, look, you could talk about Jimmy Johnson and Don Shula, and there are exceptions to the rule, but it is hard to follow a legend, and most of the time it winds up in a tough spot. It'll be really interesting to see what the San Antonio Spurs do when Greg Popovich steps down, because that could be a tough spot for them also. But you know what? You know what you're getting into. And for a lot of the guys, that's getting their foot back in the door. So maybe Lovie Smith moves on and becomes a coordinator somewhere else after working in college. There's always another step for those coaches also. Sure. But you can sort of see the guys they're committed to reshape their franchises, and the guys they're committed to get us through this absolute slop. Perfect example. Here in Boston last night, you had Steve Clifford go in with the Charlotte Hornets and get destroyed by the Celtics. Think about this for a second. Last spring, Kenny Atkinson, the assistant at Golden State, was hired and took the job in Charlotte. And then Michael Jordan laid out a game plan on, we're going to be terrible because there's this guy in France we want to win with. And Kenny Atkinson was, I've been with the Warriors. We've won championships. I don't need that. So instead, Steve Clifford comes in. Hey, he just wanted a job. He loses with the Hornets. They're bad. They get their guy. Those are the kind of guys you wind up getting. Like Lovie Smith, the career, been there, seen it, done it. Lovie Smith is not dying with all those losses. A first-time coach would be. Imagine if Mike McDaniel had to go through that. He may never have another job. I mean, it's Cam Cameron syndrome. So you have to be careful not to get in those situations. A veteran guy, he has money in the bank, he has a guaranteed contract, and he knows what losing is like on the professional level and how to deal with it.
Yep, exactly. That's why Lovie was like super calm while everything was going on in Miami and Houston. They're getting walloped in that first half, and he's there. All right, so they play Boston tomorrow. So I want to ask you something. Does
Sure.
Caleb Martin listen to our show?
I believe Caleb Martin not only listens, but I'm trying to sell him the sponsorship packages you have out there. As long as the commission's the same, I'm working on it, Big O.
Well, I told you Caleb needs to be the heart and soul there, part of what they do in that first team. And his last 3 games, 20, 20, 24 points, 9, 4, and 9 in rebounds, 4, 1, and 4 in assists, 2, 1, and 2 in steals. By the way, the 9 assists, only 2 turnovers in the process. Incredibly efficient from three-point range, 66, 50, and 44%. From the field, 66, 63, 58. I'm telling you, Ira, I'm sticking to my guns here. This is a different kind of player. This is a real Heat player. This is a guy that plays all over the damn court and on both sides of the court. You need players like this to set the table.
Except he is doing this all with Jimmy Butler out. And in many ways, Big O, he's playing like Jimmy Butler. It's all about that chemistry, that 5-man cohesion. Look how great Bam Adebayo has been the last 2 games without Jimmy Butler. So again, and again, this is the frustrating part for me. Since November 1, the Heat have not had the primary lineup of Martin and Adebayo and Butler and Hero and Lowry together. I still don't know how this works. I know this, and you and I knew this going to the season. There are a lot of very good components on this team, but you have to create a chemistry. You have to create Tua to Waddle. You have to create Tua to Hill. You have to be together on the court. So when Jimmy Butler comes back, is Caleb Martin the same player? Does Bam Adebayo start deferring? When the ball goes in the post, does it go back out to Jimmy?
Okay, but this is what I want now for them to we've talked about the youth movement, right? You know me, I've talked about it, the development. It's here.
Yes.
Do it. Why should Jimmy play 40 freaking minutes every night? Why should he score 30, 25 points, 10 rebounds, 9 assists? Use him. Jimmy should come back to make sure that Caleb plays this way, that Bam plays this way, and that he plays off of them, not everybody playing off of him. I want to save Butler. I want him to stay under the 30-minute mark where he's at the 25-minute mark playing 28 minutes, and the other guys are carrying the load so you can keep Jimmy fresh for the end of a half, for the end of a game, for the end of the season, for the playoffs, for the moments that you need Jimmy Butler to be the ultimate badass that he is. But for now, during this 82-game run, brother, you got young legs like Bam and Caleb and Tyler. They need to do the heavy lifting overall. I don't want Butler doing the heavy lifting anymore because it's not fair to him and it's not good in the long term for the team because then the poor man is worn out by the end of the year. So do you think it's doable, or do you think these young guys are still too green to be what we've seen the last couple of years?
Now we'll see whether they want to grasp that. You've seen this, Big O. Young players perform well and then defer. Young players perform well and say, screw the veterans. This is my time now. I'm taking over.
They got contracts, right? All three got contracts.
Caleb's not a big money deal, but Tyler and Bam alone, their deals are worth almost $500 million. So you have to make it work. So might this be the transition point we're talking about? You know something, Big O? I'm going to say something that might not be popular here in the accurate Pembroke Pines report, but I think it's honest, at least where we stand right now on November 29th. The Miami Heat are probably not catching the Boston Celtics or Milwaukee Bucks this season. The Boston Celtics and Milwaukee Bucks.
They're 10-1 at home. Oh, my God.
The Boston Celtics and Milwaukee Bucks are better than the Heat. So should this start the transition? Remember, Big O, next season's the last on Kyle Lowry's contract. 3-year deal, he's done. Jimmy is getting older. Is this the time now to look toward the Tyler? And look at Tyler and Bam, and their pick and roll game was awesome in Atlanta. Tyler didn't score, but he showed us he matured because he got the triple-double.
Aggressive Bam is awesome.
Bam was aggressive.
He went over the 18-shot mark, and look what we're watching. Keep doing it, Bam.
First time in his career, consecutive games with 20 or more shots. And even when Tyler didn't make shots, he got assists, he got rebounds, he's learning. It doesn't have to be about his scoring. So maybe this is the transition. Maybe there is no championship this year. Maybe there's no championship next year. But maybe the payoff from those extensions comes as those two continue to grow. Hey, Martin's only 27 years old. Strus is only 27. Those guys have 3, 4, 5 more years of competitive basketball in them. Jovic is only 19. Maybe get him on the court with those guys also. And you can really see, look, I'm not saying that Jovic, Adebayo, and Hero are anyone's big three at the moment, but they could grow into something special. You want to have that. We've seen too many of our teams not have the next step, the next degree, the moving forward. I think the Heat could have that. They can be competitive now, not championship competitive, but competitive, and then have something where you and I can talk about twice a week in our accurate Pembroke Pines reports and say, you know what, Ira? It's going to be an interesting team. And maybe it'll be something different than now. It'll be a fun team as well.
Right. That's what I had the last couple of nights. I had fun watching Bam play like what we've wanted him to play, forever. And then here's the other thing. You start doing this now, you put them on the center stage, they get the pressure minutes, they get the experience. And then next year, when Lowry's contract is either expiring or it expired, either way, whether it's during the season or just after, you will then get the opportunity to add a star to that team, that young core that you have there. So for me, I think that's kind of what you want to do. It's time to find out. It's time to sink or swim with these guys. Like, okay, we paid you the money. How good can you be? I don't want to see Bam as the super role player that he's been. I want to see Bam as the franchise player like he's played the last 2 nights. And then when you unlock Caleb, who I think is just a fantastic all-around player, let him grow too. And I think that makes Tyler better by having those guys out there helping you also on the defensive end. So I'd like to see that core grow. And then obviously we'll see what Jovic turns into in the next year or two. He's still a little young, but those 3 should be, and Strus, he's fantastic off the bench.
And here's the thing. When you develop that young core, veterans will come here at a low price. For example, Goran Dragic is playing for the minimum. He looked at Chicago. It didn't turn out this way, but he said, you know what? Lonzo Ball and Zach LaVine, I can go there. I'll go for the minimum. So instead of getting Kyle Lowry at $38 million a year, with the temptation of Adebayo and Hero, maybe Jovic, a Mike Conley who becomes a free agent, all of a sudden says, you know what? I'll go there for the minimum. So instead of paying Kyle 38, you're still getting a veteran, but you're getting a guy who's intrigued by the young guys, who's coming at a small deal. You don't have to throw that money after a veteran like they did with Jimmy, like they did with Kyle. It's interesting. But again, Heat fan, Heat Nation, as you listen to our accurate Pembroke Pines report, appreciate if you want to grow something, you have to let those seeds germinate. You have to let it take time. Yeah. It might cost you a win. You might go to me after Wednesday in Boston or Friday in Boston and go to me, Ira, why is Bam taking that last shot that he missed? And I'm going to tell you, Big O, because he has to be in that situation and has to grow from it. So yes, it was an L in Boston, but next time he knows where to take it, when to take it, and how to take it. As long as Heat Nation can have patience, which I've never heard to be the case, I think you can grow something special. I do agree, Big O.
I mean, the Celtics are 17-4 and 10-1 at home. It's not like Miami's 10-11 and 2-7 on the road. So
Bucks are great, and the Bucks are great also. So you have, excuse me, you have dual issues there. Sometimes they're just better teams. Sometimes you have to deal with it.
No, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that, dude. What Pat Riley and Mickey have done for 25 years, you have to appreciate everything that they've done. You have titles, you have tons of playoff trips. This is part of the process of trying to get back to, if you're going to be great again, well, then guess what? I just think that you've got to make that turn to the young people because you already tried it with the older guys. It has not worked. It's not going to get you there. And if you're going to ride Jimmy all year long and then try to ride him all the way through the playoffs, it just puts too much of a burden on him.
I agree.
I think he becomes even more deadly if you keep him fresher and he's playing off of the young guys.
Yes,
that's where I think
he's just the only old guy and one of a few. You're not doing the Iguodala thing. You're not doing the PJ Tucker thing. You're not looking at a guy and seeing no future. It's nice to look at a guys and saying, you know what? I can buy the Adebayo jersey and know my kid can wear it in Heat colors because he's not going anywhere. I can buy the Hero jersey. Again, it's interesting. I spoke to you in recent years and I said before Tua really emerged, I said, if you were to buy a family member a Dolphins jersey, who would you buy? And even you said you were really waffling because you didn't know who was going to be there for sure. There was a time there we didn't even know, what was going to go on, with Xavier Howard. Would he be there? Would his contract be an issue? Would he demand a trade? Now you can kind of feel good if you're a Dolphins fan. I think you'd agree, Big O. If you buy a Tua jersey, your kid can wear it for the next 5 years and doesn't have to trade it in for a Tua Texans jersey. Remember, just a year ago, Tua was going for Deshaun Watson. He was being offered out the door. It's nice to see teams, whether it's Tua, whether it's Bam, to establish their own star and let that star grow. It's kind of nice. We haven't had that for a while at South Florida. You never could buy a Marlins jersey because whether it was Stanton or Yelich or someone, they were gone in the wind anyway. Hell, you couldn't buy a Huberto jersey because he was gone in the wind. So it's kind of nice to have a Tua. It's kind of nice to have a Barkov. It's kind of nice to have an Adebayo. It's nice to have your guys. I love when they get free agents. Trades are always fun. But you know what? It's nice to see someone grow up in front of your very eyes. A lot of ways I look at Bam Adebayo as Orlando Alzagary's second child.
And listen, here's the other point that I want to make.
Sure.
I haven't been happy, obviously, with the Kyle Lowry deal. I've been very vocal about that. Here's the thing. If we start using the young guys as the anchors, if Bam is taking the 20-plus shots a night, if Tyler and Caleb and Strus are part of your core, then less pressure is on Lowry to score, which is really his huge burden right now because he's just not consistent enough to be a scorer for you or even a shooter for you.
He doesn't have the explosion at 37 he had at 27. Yes.
But he is still El Pibe Valderrama. When Pibe got here for the Fusion, he could barely move. But, buddy, all he needed to do was tap the ball and set up Lassiter and set up whoever he wanted to head at because he had the touch, he had the experience, he had the vision. Here in comes Lowry. I see him as Valderrama. I don't expect you to carry anything, dude, but I expect you to facilitate. And if there's something he can still do at a high level is run the offense and facilitate. And then occasionally drive to the hole or whatever and score something for you. But that's what to me, if you put the gas into the young guys and then all of a sudden you don't have to ask the guy that's got an empty tank practically to carry you.
And even, someone more recent, even Higuain, when he first arrived here, he was giving great setup passes, and there was no one there to finish because all you had was Brett Shea, and you weren't scoring. And then he realized this season, even at his advanced age, he had to score, and he did score. But
you're talking about Higuain now. You're talking about
Higuain. You knew that wasn't sustainable.
I was going back to the Fusion days.
Right. I'm trying to be more recent. But you knew with Higuain scoring this season, it wasn't sustainable. No offense to Kyle, but this is probably not sustainable, these big scoring games every now and then. It's not who he is at 37. No. So I agree. There's a nice trend here. I'd say even though they're under 500, you can make an argument long-term wise, the Heat are trending in a reasonably good place. I would agree with that.
And what you also said earlier in the interview, they're all of a sudden become entertaining.
Yes.
And that's look at the Dolphins. Boring for 25 years, boring because you were just hoping for your defense to bail you out because they couldn't ever score. And, this grinded out stuff with them and going to the line. And it's great to watch Jimmy attack the hole and all that with those vice grip hands of his. But when you watch the electrifying play that you see with these young guys, Bam was awesome. Like that was
I agree. The Heat were Miles Gaskin at the start of the season, and now they're becoming something more, and it's kind of nice to see. I would agree with that.
Yeah, a big Tyreek Hill is what we're getting out of Bam Adebayo, which is awesome. All right, what do you got going on in the Sun Sentinel so folks can check you out?
Couple of things. Mostly, I just posted a feature on Drew Smith, which is really interesting. They invited him down here at Thanksgiving with no guarantee of a job. He worked out on Friday morning, and they basically said, we might need you. Gave Vince's knee issue, happened. All of a sudden, the guy played on Friday and Sunday, and you know what? He put together a couple really good games. He had a huge three-pointer at the end of the game. It's the cliche of don't, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. But did he do that? Let me look at Orlando Robinson. He was with the team for a week, but he had an impact even in the overtime loss in Washington. He was effective. Drew Smith the same way. these guys really do turn lumps of coal into really gifts that give, at least in the moment. So it's a really nice story of him staying ready, understanding, hey, this might be over in a heartbeat. He's going to enjoy the moment. So I wrote about that. I did my Ask Ira today, what we spoke about on the Tyler Hero Bam Adebayo pick and roll. That not only is it an action that's been good for the team, but it's an action with a couple of guys who were 23 and younger. That it's young guys getting it done. That Tyler's 23, Bam's a little older, so you can grow with it also. So for all the people, you should have kept Dragic, you should have gone older. It's nice. By moving on from Goran, you've let the canvas be open for Tyler to be a playmaker as well as a scorer. And man, I thought that was the biggest step forward maybe in Tyler's NBA career when he realized he could shoot 3 of 12 from the field and 0 of 8 on three-pointers and still have a productive game. You have to learn that lesson. I think he did on Sunday.
Yeah, and by the way, I've called the Finns now the Miami Heat, because the Miami Heat for years now have been unearthing talent all over the place. Now Chris Greer and company, they've been doing that with the Nick Needhams of the world and the Sealers of the world and all these other guys that they're finding, all over the place. Robert Jones, and they find Brandon Shell to play right tackle for a few weeks. It's crazy that they've done that now because, as you know, we've become fans of the Summer League and all the other off-season moves, and you don't overlook who's in Sioux Falls anymore.
Right.
Why? Because there's a good chance that somebody in Sioux Falls is going to be playing in your rotation soon.
And just like with the Dolphin scouting, someone on another team's practice squad could be their starting left tackle, and they know that. That's why you always see in the background of the GMs these boards with every name in the league in there. And the great teams know every one of those players, their strengths and their weaknesses. I have scouts calling me all the time. Asking me, give me the update on Drew Smith. Why? Because they might sign him if the Heat let him go. Same thing, Orlando Robinson. You have to work at it. What the Dolphins have done recently, yes, they traded Tunsil, the picks they got back. Some they kept, some they turned into something else. That's what you do. You leave yourself open to every possibility. You just don't go with the fans. They just spend all the money on this guy. They should get that guy. Everyone is in play when you're a good team and a good front office. I agree.
Yeah, man. They've done an awesome job. All right, Ira. Follow him on Twitter at Ira Heatbeat. And, of course, subscribe to the South Florida Sun Sentinel and follow all of his work. Ira, be safe in your travels, my friend. Enjoy
And we will
the
talk
seas.
tomorrow at 9 a.m. on our redrecover.com Inside the Paint Show, which is always fun to see if Orlando gets up on time and introduces us or it's just the cold open. So I will wait and see with Kurt tomorrow, 9 a.m.
Tomorrow you'll get the intro. Remember,
right.
dude, I was going 7 days a week. The voice was not getting any rest.
All right, let's stop and think about this. Ira Winderman has had 1 day off since September 6th, and yet the Big O is asking for sympathy. Screw that. I will talk to you tomorrow morning. Get your ass out of bed.
It's the voice.
Oh, you're silky smooth no matter. You're silky smooth no matter what.
This isn't radio where I take a half-hour break of commercials in an hour. I do 3-4 minutes in an hour. It's 55, 56 minutes.
Content. But these fingers get tired also. But that's another story for another day. Talk to you tomorrow a little before 9. redrecover.com Inside the Paint with Kurt Elin. Be there tomorrow. Thank you, Big O.
You don't need this for your fingers, okay? I need this for my throat. Ira Winderman.
You've been listening to the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA Report with Ira Winderman. When you're looking for award-winning service and great deals from the #1 volume Acura sales dealership in the Southeast United States, you go to Craig's Inn Acura of Pembroke Pines at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
All right. I did get some cough drops from Nature B. Actually, I didn't even know they had those. They have so many different products, and I think it was Gus 1388 that sent it to me. He goes, because he ordered them, and he showed me the bag on Twitter and everything. So I'm waiting. I should be getting them very soon. I'm looking forward to. I want to try those. Apparently, they work because Gus suggested them to me, so it's pretty cool. Let's see. Raphael says, Big O, I used to not like you very much when you were on QAM with Joe Rose, Mad Dog, and Goldie, but I must admit that you do speak the truth. I admit it now. I turn to your show for the facts. Fins up. Raphael, brother, and I love you, brother. Thank you for that. It means the world. I get that a lot. I get it a lot. I get people walk up, dude, I didn't like you at the beginning, this, that, whatever. Because sometimes some people think that because I don't like something, oh, I must be negative about the team. No, dude, it's not that. I love you see back behind me, any media member does this? Anybody does this? No, of course not. Right? Because I'm open about it, man. I'll be objective. See, that's the history of South Florida sports. The soul is there, dude. You know what I mean? Who does that shit? Nobody. Only me, because I'm all about the hometown teams. I love all my hometown teams. I want them all to win. But if I'm going to do my job for you guys, I have to be objective. And you may not want to hear it, but at least I'm going to tell you what I think is right or wrong. And I may be wrong. I may be right, whatever. But sometimes it's hard for fans who are fanatical to hear the truth. Oh, and Dominican Sue signed. Yeah, it's a terrible contract. It's a terrible decision. Right away, I got roasted. Right? In fact, now you mentioned Joe and I had it out on the air about that. Oh, he thought it was going to change the defense and all that. Bullshit. He's not Warren Sapp or Aaron Donald. Get the fuck out of here. That ain't going to happen. And sure enough, he played well. Dominican Sue did his job. Now, he never did the job that people thought he was going to be or he was paid for. He was paid to be Warren Sapp. He was paid to be Aaron Donald. And he was never going to be that guy. He was never going to get you 8, 10, 12, 15 sacks from the defensive tackle position. Hell out of here. That's not who he was. But then I get roasted for that. But in the end, I was right. Happens, man. And so fans sometimes get crazy at me because I'm not telling them what they want to hear. And that's not what you're going to get on this show. I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. And sometimes you're going to like it. And sometimes you're going to laugh at me like they laughed at me for 2 years. Oh, you're an idiot. Tua can't play. Okay, that's fine. You're an idiot. Because I think Tua's a star. I didn't only say he could play. I said he was a star. And then I look like an idiot until he actually plays. Fine. I tell all the time, and I'm going to have fun with Adam Beasley all the time because he was, he was kind of snickering and kind of dismissive when we were talking about Tua because he was the guy that didn't believe that Tua was a good player. That's how it goes. It happens, man. And that's been my life for 30 years. And I'm going to tell you what I think. And it's not what you want to hear all the time. Okay? Chris Greer, I was laughed at. Oh, he's part of the problem for the last 20 years here. No, he's not. But if you don't want to hear the truth, I can't help you. And sure enough, now that he's, going and getting it done, nobody says anything anymore. Brooklyn Rob, oh, you coming to Boca today? Yes, sir. I'll be there around between 2:30 and 3 o'clock. I don't think it'll be any later than that. I think I should be there by 2:30 because it's about an hour from my house. Hour and 10 minutes. So I don't know what kind of traffic I'll get from here to there. But yeah, I'm headed there, my man. I will see you there. If any of you are in the Boca, West Palm area, I am going to go to Hijinks Sports Grill. Yeah, a little gas here. After this, okay? What else do we have here? You're a staple. Great show, dude. Your biggest fan. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Raphael. Wilfred says, what about the new left tackle we picked up yesterday? Is he good? Wilfred, he's like the 87th tackle you've picked up. I don't know, man. You know what I mean? I don't know if they could get him to play like Brandon Shell on the left side. When it comes to the tackle situation, let's talk a little bit about that since this man brought it up. Kendall Lamb was signed yesterday. He's a 30-year-old, formerly of, the school that the University of Miami loves, Appalachian State, and played 86 games so far in his career, 28 starts in 7 seasons. So we're talking about a journeyman. And that's kind of what Brandon Shell is, a journeyman. And he did a very good job overall on the right side. Left side's not his deal. Don't pick on him for that. That's not his fault. Okay. That was just desperation from the team, and it didn't work out. I guarantee you will not see Brandon Shell on the left side this week. He will be on the right side. It'll be, if Austin can get there, and Greg Little probably on the left side. So now, as I'm looking at Alan Poupart's article this morning, besides Kendall Lamb, they have Keon Smith, Lamont Gallard, and James Empey. They've got 4 linemen on the practice squad. Is Keon, remember the guy they just signed? I doubt they're throwing him right to the Wolves right away. So it's probably, get him in shape, get him used to it. It'll probably be more Keon Smith, Gallard, or Empey, guys that have already been there to kind of help out. I've told you what I think is going to end up happening. It'll either be Jackson or Little at left tackle. And if I'm the Miami Dolphins, I'm playing more Max Protect this week, because Max Protect is not so bad for the Miami Dolphins because you have Hill and Waddle. Because you have 2 of the fastest receivers in the NFL, 2 of the most dynamic receivers in the NFL, I think it makes a lot of sense to play a little bit more Max, give Tua that extra half second. You're playing an amazing player in Boza. And I believe he lines up on the left side. So it'll be Brandon Shell's side. So if he lines up on the left side, he does line up. He doesn't line up on the right side. He lines up on the left, if I remember correctly. If there's a Niners fan watching, help me out on that. If I'm correct, Boza lines up on the left, not on the right. And so he will be facing Shell. So at least Shell is used to playing right tackle. And you're going to use either a 6th lineman or and the fullback to kind of help out in max protection. And then you're going to have very few people running routes. And that's just the way it is. And you're going to have to do it that way. But we'll find out. I can't answer. Nobody can answer that, dude. Nobody can answer what tackle's ready to play. None of us are in practice. None of us are in the meeting rooms. We don't know who's in shape. We don't know who's the healthiest one. We just don't know. None of us will know. But I'll tell you this. They're 8-3. They've only lost games because they lost their quarterback. And yet they've had a ton of injuries. The one thing that I think we all got to stop playing is that we're better GMs than they are. And that we know better than they do. Okay? They're 8-3. They've overcome all kinds of shit. The only thing they can't overcome is their quarterback, which most teams can't, by the way. That's just the way it is. So they have earned the benefit of the doubt now. Let's wait and see. Let's watch how they handle this. I mean, they've handled adversity all year long in a beautiful fashion. Let's give them a chance. They'll tell us what they think about their line. They know about this more than we do. They've done a really good job overall with everybody. Converting Connor to center. Robert Jones has made a really good transition to left guard there. Robert Hunt just continues to get better. He's almost playing at a Pro Bowl level. They found Brandon Shell off the street, and they made him serviceable for several weeks at right tackle. Teron Armstead is Teron Armstead before them and after. It doesn't matter. He's going to be great. But they've done so much all around. So let's pump the brakes. Let's not treat them like Cam Cameron and Nick Saban and Jeff Ireland and young Rick Spielman and Dave Wan, all the mess that we've had here for 20 years. Let's not treat these guys like we treated those people because we saw their track records. So far, the track record right now has been impeccable. They deserve the benefit of the doubt from all of us. That's all I'm saying. They can move them around, Big O, left or right. Actually, John, it's interesting that you mentioned that. What did I just say? Where does Boza line up? On the left side. And Tua is lefty, which is the opposite way. So I can see a lot of left-handed rollouts away from Boza and to his strength and where his arm obviously is at. So while he's lining up on the left side against the right tackle and coming this way, you can roll Tua away from him and buy yourself a little bit more time. That's where you might need the 6 linemen on the left side. So as you move, you have the two linemen on the left side or the fullback or Durham Smythe, whatever, but a 6 person to kind of pick up the pass rush and give Tua a little more time as he rolls left. So you'll get to roll away from Boza to the strength of Tua's arm. Okay? The dumb thing I saw was move Connor to left tackle. But those are fans, Isaiah. Why would you listen to a fan? Fan wants to move Robert Hunt to tackle, which is stupid also. You don't ruin the 3 guys in the middle. You don't. You don't mess with what's going on in the pocket at all. Okay? You try to pick up the edges and you try to do better there on the edges. And that's what you've got to do this week. Okay? Big O, I don't want to see Jackson on the field, period. He was terrible. Well, he's also injured now, so I think maybe he never got healthy from that high ankle sprain. Nate Mandu, that's really where we want to do. Hey, if I ever get out of here, I'm going to Nate Mandu. He says, I'd rather overcommit on the left side with Smythe and Ingold than disrupt the rhythm on the right side with Shell anchoring that side very well. Amen. Amen. I got no problem with that. And John Yang says, I agree. Stay away from Boza and double team him. The problem is that they have goons on deck, and the Niners could adjust and move Boza to the side. Tua's rolling. Yep, they could. Liam is out for the year, my brother. Not sure if you know that. All right, 1 hour down. We got one more to go. Don't forget, Sloman's Home Shield, baby. Protect your home. 1-800-ALARM-ME. That's 1-800-ALARM-ME. Tell them that Big O sent you. And I love my doorbell camera. You can get a free doorbell camera right now. The first 40 Big O listeners right now. Let's go. You use our professional installation, our low-cost central station monitoring. You're going to get an LED touchscreen pad, a motion detector, 3 arm doors, and a backup battery. Call 1-800-ALARM-ME. Tell them that Big O sent you. And by the way, for our friends up north, we are in 14 different states. Heating oil. If you use a little heating oil and you are thinking, I'm spending a lot of money in this. Well, how about this? This takes no effort. Pick up your cell phone, pick up your home phone, whatever it is you have, 866-OIL-DEAL. Call right now, Sloman's Home Shield, man. They also provide heating oil all across the Northeast, folks. And they've got a fixed price that is going to save you hundreds of dollars in the long run. Do it now. Tell them that you are part of the Big O show, and they'll take care of you. So whatever you're paying for heating oil, why don't you just pick up the phone and call 1-866-OIL-DEAL and ask. Just say, hey, this is what I pay. What are you offering? And maybe you start saving money right away with our friends at Sloman's. They've been heating up homes in America for a long, long time. They've been protecting America for over 100 years, folks. Sloman's Home Shield. They're there for you. Again, 866-OIL-DEAL. If you think you're paying too much for heating oil, 866-OIL-DEAL, and tell them that the Big O sent you. They'll take care of you. All right. Break. Hour number 2 is next.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed. They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house! Get out of the house!
Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full-service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
Why is it that you get locked out in the worst moments of your life?
Where are my car keys? Man, I can't find my house keys.
In those frustrating moments, you need a locksmith you can count on. A. Lenny Locksmiths in South Florida, from Miami to Port St. Lucie. In Central Florida, A. Lenny locks it down in Orlando and Tampa Bay. Lockouts or lock changes for home or business. Car key replacements and programming all model cars. 24-hour service. Call them at 855-869-5625. Go to the website at alennylocksmith.com.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
We're back. Ready to go. Ready to rock and roll. Trying to bring something up here. You know what I should do? I should just send it to you, Sean. Do me a favor, Sean. I'm gonna send you something right now. Okay. There. I just sent you something. It'll have nothing, probably no subject to it. But it's a Metallica thing. Bring it up for me if you can when you get a chance there, sir. And Metallica just announced a tour. Very interesting. And they just announced a tour. And I don't know, bro. I'm thinking it's what is it? Liquid Death and Blackened, I guess, present Metallica. And it's called the M72 World Tour No Repeat Weekend. 2 nights, 2 different sets, 2 different opening acts in the round. So they're going all over the place, Amsterdam and Paris and Germany and Sweden and Spain and all over. And they're going also to Montreal, Canada, which that one sounds kind of interesting because Pantera and Mammoth are opening up for that one in Montreal. I could go to that one August 11th and the 13th in 2023. They're doing in Arlington, Texas for our friends out there, Foxborough, Chicago, Minneapolis, Los Angeles, by the way, Edmonton, Phoenix, Arizona, St. Louis, Seattle, Detroit, and then these last 2 in the bottom. They're going to Mexico City, September 20 and 22nd in 2024, and September 27th and 29th in 2024 in Mexico City. Remember I told you that I wanted to go to a metal concert in Central and South America? And guess who's opening up? Because if you look to the left, you have Architects and Mammoth, which is obviously Wolfie Van Halen, his band. You have Five Finger Death Punch and 9 Inch. Ice Nine Kills. Okay. I was just saying 9 Inch Nails. Ice Nine Kills. All right. And then you have Pantera Mammoth also in another one. And Volbeat and Mammoth in another one. And Greta Van Fleet and Mammoth. And in Mexico City, Greta Van Fleet and Mammoth are opening up. And I think that that's freaking awesome. So, for our friends in Mexico City, maybe 2024 is the day we go over there to Mexico City. And finally, I get a bucket list where I get to go to a metal concert in Central or South America. And a Metallica concert in Mexico City has got to be freaking awesome. And think about this. 2 nights, 2 different sets. So you're going to get about 40 different songs in 2 nights. That's pretty freaking awesome. All right. And I get to see Greta Van Fleet and Mammoth twice, especially Greta for me, because obviously, as you all know, I'm a big, big Greta Van Fleet fan. How about that? So if it's coming to your town, oh, by the way, tickets go on sale tomorrow. Okay. So if you plan on going to any of these, just want you to know tickets go on sale tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. on Ticketmaster. Okay. If Big O goes to Metallica, Mexico, I'm going. Challenge has been accepted. I'm going to that one. I mean, I'm just kind of mentioning here, but I'm telling you, I'm going to the one in Mexico City. Okay. Definitely going to the one in Mexico City. Would love to meet a whole bunch of you over there if you're going. And of course, all of our Mexican listeners, because we've got a crap ton of Mexico listeners because they love their freaking Dolphins, dude. You know how many folks in Mexico love the Dolphins? It's pretty amazing. Metallica has a new album in April 14th. It's called 72 Seasons. Sounds like they're Dolphin fans, but they're not, LOL. Vince Neil was celebrating the Dolphins win. He's a big Dolphins fan. So Green Lion, I expect to see you there in Mexico City in 2024. I'm going. It's during football season. So let me see. I wonder if I'm gonna have to do a show over there. Now that I think about it, 2024, right? So let's go to September, and let's see if I go 20 and 22. 20 is a Friday, 22 is a Sunday. So I gotta hope that the Dolphins play at 1 o'clock, so I can do the pre and post game show from Mexico City, and then go to the concert. Okay, that's probably what's going to happen. And then what's the other dates? 27 and 20, which is the same thing. It's a Friday and a Sunday, so it would be the same thing. I don't know what the schedule is going to be like then. Although if I go 27 and 29, my birthday is October 1st. There you go. You never know. You never know. By the way, folks, don't forget you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show if you want to make a donation through Cash App or Venmo. Leon Fresco, thank you for the love on the super chat. Says, what is your pick, U.S. or Iran? Worried it's too easy for Iran to counter since we need a goal on Finns. Dieter at left tackle would be better than Little. I just think it doesn't matter who plays left tackle, Leon. He's been playing. They've kept his mind all on center the entire year. Remember, I told you guys that Robert Jones would be the guy. I wanted Dieter, but I kind of had the inkling that Robert Jones would be the guy, and that's what he is. So they've kept Dieter focused on playing backup center. I don't know if they're going to move him over to left tackle, or he could be the extra blocker. Because that's what I would do. I would add a sixth lineman to this game. The next two games, you've got to deal with a Boza. It's a pain in the ass. Leon, you know what, dude? You could be 1,000% right. None of us know. You can make your guess. I can make my guess. But really, in the end, did you think Brandon Shell was going to do a good job at right tackle? Probably not. Oh, they got this guy off the street. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, he did a pretty good job. Felt terrible for him when they had to move him over to the left because that's not his thing. That's not his jam, as they say. Let's see. Scorpions, peppers only, or else it isn't hell. Huh? Making a monster pot of turkey chili from hell while listening to the Big O this morning. Okay. Big O, we need a petition to get Darius Rucker for our Super Bowl. I think if the Dolphins make it, I think they'll bring Darius Rucker over. Why not? Because the Dolphins don't make us cry anymore. I need to see Meshuggah too and Lamb of God. Okay. I'm not a Lamb of God or I'm not the screaming metal has never been my thing. I got to have a voice. If I listen to metal, you got to be Rob Halford. If I listen to metal, you got to be Joey Belladonna with Anthrax. If I listen to metal, you got to have Bruce Dickinson. If I'm going to listen to metal, then give me Jeff Tate. If I'm going to listen to metal, I need you to have a voice. I can't listen to Man of War. Yeah, that's never been my thing. I got to have a voice. That's the one thing. What's Maria at this moment? Maria, whatever. God, what's her name? Big hip girl too. She's God, what's her name? Maria something. But anyway, she's probably Cuban at heart or something because that woman's got some big hips. But they play metal, and she can sing her freaking ass off. Okay, she is awesome. Awesome. What a voice. Jeff Tate, what a great voice. Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Love Jeff Tate, bro. Oh, he's coming. By the way, Jeff Tate's coming. I don't know the date, but look it up if you're in South Florida. I can't assume everybody's in South Florida. I know a lot of you aren't in South Florida also that listen to the show and watch the show throughout the week. Let's see. Metal, listen to Rush show. course I listen to Rush, my brother, but I love metal. I've always loved rock, and I love prog rock, which is obviously Rush and Yes, and all kinds of bands like that. Zebra, I like my prog rock too. Yes, I like all kinds of rock. The speed metal I have a problem with because of the screaming. I'm not a big fan of that. You know, that's the only thing. I got to tell you something. I'm not the biggest Five Finger Death Punch guy, but I enjoy them because they have a groove to their music. I saw them live at Rockville now in Daytona. It used to be in Jacksonville, and they were awesome. They were fantastic, dude. I was very impressed. No, in fact, I saw Five Finger Death Punch also. Didn't they open up here also at Pompano Beach Amphitheater too? They opened up for God, what's Chino Moreno? Damn it, what's Chino's the lead singer for damn it. Now I'm forgetting the damn band, but I'm pretty sure I saw them open up for, and I like these guys. I forget. I'm brain farting right now. Not Adelita's Way. That's De Jesus, Rick De Jesus. Deftones. Thank you. Deftones. So Five Finger Death Punch opened up for Deftones. Yep, definitely. Big old Alter Bridge fan. I've seen them twice in Orlando. I love Alter Bridge. Big time Alter Bridge fan. Kennedy does. Miles Kennedy is. I think Miles Kennedy is one of the better frontmen in rock. I think he's a really cool dude. Got a great voice. And when he does the stuff with Slash, you got to see that. Not only the Alter Bridge stuff, which is fantastic with Tremonti and all that, but you should go see him with Slash. Okay, when they do Slash and Miles Kennedy and the Conspirators and Slash, oh my God, I've seen that every time they go to Orlando. I travel up because they don't come here because I don't know. Many bands abandon us here in South Florida, so we have to travel up to Orlando, and usually have to go up to see them. If you love Miles Kennedy, I suggest you go see him with Slash also, because Miles Kennedy and the Conspirators, along with Slash, is one of the better shows you'll see out there. Richard Leonard says, "What a private showing of Randy Jackson was at a private showing of Randy Jackson in a friend's house." Are you talking about Randy Jackson, the bassist for Journey? Is that what you're talking about? That's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Let's see. You saw Sarzo in the airport. He looks like such a nice guy, man. Rudy Sarzo. He looks like a decent human being. Big lover of cats, by the way. And he's always on social media. And, man, he has been in so many excellent bands. It's truly amazing. What else do we have? Lizzie Hale and Corey Taylor did Dio justice for his tribute album. Amazing talent. I love Lizzie Hale. I'm a big Hailstorm fan. I'm not as big a Slipknot guy. I know Corey Taylor's with Slipknot, but I'm not necessarily a big Randy Jackson of Zebra. Wow. Well, who's behind the door? Nice. I like that. That's not a lot of people know Zebra. Very good. Okay. When I think Randy Jackson, I think first Journey and obviously, people know him from the what's that singing contest or whatever, America's Got Talent. What's that other one? The one that he was on, whatever. That's where people know him from. I know Randy from when he was with Journey back in the 80s, with what's that album with the girl Radio something. Great album for Journey. Great album, man. It's I think it's one of the more underrated albums of Journey. That one had Girl Can't Help It. She needs. Yeah, I love that song. That whole album. That album is like super underrated. Raised on Radio. Thank you, Gotti. Thank you. Excellent album. Randy's part of that one. Timothy Poor says Orlando may get Slash, but will never get U2, Radiohead, or M83. The day any of them show up in Orlando is the day the ocean freezes over. I've seen U2 in Lakeland. I've seen U2 in Tampa several times. I've seen it in Miami and Fort Lauderdale a zillion times. Have I ever? I don't think I went to the Amway Center to see Orlando. I don't think I went to the arena to see U2 either. I don't think I saw U2 at the Citrus Bowl. You might be right, actually. Radiohead, I can't say because I don't remember all the Radiohead tours and all that, and M83, no. But U2, I know because I've gone to every tour of U2 back to the early 80s. And multiple stops, always in this state, wherever they stop. And I don't think that they've ever done Orlando. I think you are right. I've been to U2 concerts I saw them at the Lakeland Civic Center. They opened up the Octon Baby tour at the Lakeland Civic Center. Yep. That was awesome. I mean, that was phenomenal to watch that to go to that concert, to have tickets because, it's like 4,000 people. It's like a small, beautiful little arena. Lakeland's done a nice little job with that arena. And it was heaven to see U2 in that place. It's like going to the War concert back at the Sunrise Musical Theater, the same thing. Oh, did you ever check out Corey Taylor singing the DLR Van Halen with John 5? No, I did not. I saw John 5 in concert recently. No, not recently. I want to say like about a year and a half ago. I saw him at Culture Room. I want to say it was. Big O, every time you start talking crypto or music, I wait for the next rookie that asks you to move over to sports. LOL. But you know how the show goes. We could talk music. We could talk crypto. We could talk life. We could talk women. We can talk, whatever. And we talk a lot of sports. Yeah. But once you guys get me going with music or crypto, that's, you wind me up because those are my other passions. And by the way, the crypto market has been very, very green since last night, which is interesting right now. What do we have? Let me see. Where's Bitcoin up? Just under 2%. Stuck at 16.5. It's still in the 16.5 area. But there are other things that are flying. ApeCoin continues to climb and do very well. Injective protocol. I love a little injective protocol. It went down into the 150s and back up to 165. It'll take off. I'm not worried. This is the time. U2 Joshua Tree was the best album. It depends. It's a great album. Unforgettable Fire is also impeccable. And War is my favorite, actually. But I have no problem with anybody telling me Joshua Tree is the best album. Or Unforgettable Fire or War. Do I save concert tickets? Yes, I do. I do save concert tickets. I have a couple of concert tickets. Yeah. Quite a bit. So, yeah. Maybe in the next break we'll show you some classic tickets. Maybe we can do that. All right. Big O, are you a dream? Oh yeah, dude, definitely. Petrucci and the fellas. That's another prog rock. That's a modern prog rock in Dream Theater. Definitely, dude. Petrucci with those guns of his. I've never seen a more muscular guitarist than John Petrucci, bro. He is a badass. And the drummer, damn it, he's one of my favorite drummers in rock now. Now I God bless, what's his name now? You got to remember every damn thing. Portnoy. He is awesome, dude. Love Portnoy. I think he's one of the 5 best drummers on the planet right now. Right now, did not say Mike Portnoy is the best drummer or one of the 5 best drummers of all time, which I don't know, whatever you want to start. But right now on the planet, living on the planet. Okay. All right. All right. The Cream guy's dead. The Who guy's dead. The Rush guy's dead. Okay. So on the planet right now, Mike Portnoy is one of the 5 best drummers on the planet, in my opinion, which is completely subjective. Whether you want to talk about the top 5 singers in rock or the top 5 drummers or the top 5 guitarists, that's all subjective. But Portnoy for me is a freaking monster. Love Portnoy. So that's just me. I've seen ZZ Top and yeah, definitely. Yeah, all over the place. No, Phil Collins. I love Phil Collins. And he's a great drummer. I do not ever put him in the top 5 or top 10 or top 20 of my drummers of all time. Okay. I just think when you do that, it's because you're tied up with him as the artist. Because when it comes to music and singing, then then you're talking about Phil Collins as being one of the greatest songwriters in the history of time, period. I mean, that guy wrote all kinds of hits, solo with Genesis, movie soundtracks. I mean, the guy's a freaking monster. He's one of the greatest musicians ever. I would never put Phil Collins in my top 20 of drummers. Not even close. Okay. I just kind of feel that, I hate to say this, but if you put Phil Collins in your top 20 of drummers, I don't know about your musical depth. I don't know about your knowledge, to be quite honest with you. Okay. Because Stuart Copeland blind is better than Phil Collins. Okay. But that's, that's a discussion that we can have at a bar sometime, and we can go at it and have some fun with it. But I'll tell you that as much as I love him, I would never put Phil Collins as a top 20 drummer in my book ever. Not even close. Not even close. What else do we have? Ringo Starr? No, not a top 10 drummer. No. Bill Buford. Aha. See now, Brett. You know your shit, bro. You know your shit. Bruford is like, here's Phil Collins and here's Bruford, bro. You know what I mean? But you know your shit. When you're telling me that, you know your shit. So yeah, I put Phil Collins top 5 drummer because he could make a song with. It's not. No, it's no. You're mixing the musician with the drummer, and no. It's all good. It's again subjective. If you want to put Phil Collins there, it's fine. I wouldn't ever agree with you, but that's fine. It's all good. It's all good. Terry Bozzio, okay, would run circles around Phil Collins. Circles and circles and circles and circles and circles. Phil Collins, but he would never get that love because of the band he was in. And that's, it's like Cucurello in guitar, playing for several bands, Zappa with Missing Persons, and not that I would ever put him in my top 20 or 40 or whatever, but Cucurello is one of those guys that never gets any mention ever as a great guitarist, and he is a great guitarist. But it's just one of those deals. It kind of happens. Yeah, Buddy Rich, of course. What are you gonna do? That's money right there. Terry Bozzio isn't even human, though. Terry loves Phil Collins. Yeah, who doesn't love Phil Collins? We all love Phil Collins. But yeah, Ginger Baker. Now those are Ginger Baker. Now you're talking about the elite of the elite. You know, the Ginger Baker's in the top 5, top 10. That's where that conversation goes with Ginger Baker. You know, or you might say he's number 1. And are you going to argue with somebody that gives it to Ginger Baker? No. Hell no. All right, let's unleash the wolf pack.
We unleash the wolf pack as we get the latest in the NFL and the Miami Dolphins with our KSDT CPA Pro Football Report with NFL Network insider Cameron Wolf. KSDT is one of South Florida's largest and one of the country's fastest growing accounting firms. KSDT CPA is a full-service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit them at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370. Here's NFL insider Cameron Wolf.
All right. And by the way, Chad, I agree with you on Zappa. Even though I'm not a fan necessarily of his music, his musicianship was elite. And a lot of the people that played with Zappa also, you could not be a schmuck and play with Zappa. So I agree with you. And Cucurella was one of the guys that played with Zappa. If you play with Zappa, you knew your shit. There's no doubt about that. All right, Cam, how you feeling, baby? You racing out to enjoy the Tuesday?
Yeah, man. I got you got a game at 2:00, right?
Yeah. But I'm just saying, did you see the video I sent you?
Oh yeah. I saw it, man. It's cool.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
It is a cool video. It is a cool video. Now, it was
is.
done, like 4 or 5 days ago. So I'm just wondering. Well, he's had a lot of time to produce the video. So I'm just saying, had a lot of time off.
Yeah.
But it's nice. So let me ask you, what do you know about Byron Jones? What do we know? Is there any news whatsoever?
Well, I know that he likes Porsches and he has an old school Porsche. I've said it before, and again, I don't think that the Dolphins or their fans should expect Byron Jones to be back this season. From what I understand, it is more than just the Achilles. And I've told you that before, but it's not just the Achilles that's bothering him in this situation. And so you hear me?
Yeah. He's had other setbacks.
Yeah. And so that's sort of the play here. If I was a betting man, which I am not NFL, I do not bet. I cannot bet on sports. But if I was a betting man, I would say that Byron Jones has played his last snap as a Dolphin.
Wow. So he's not even going to be able to play to try to help himself out in the offseason.
So I haven't nothing's been ruled out, right? You hear Mike McDaniel saying there's optimism, there's hope, and I could certainly see, if things make a turn, that maybe he comes back at some time in the stretch. But it's already been 3 months, 4 months longer than they expected. And there hasn't been any significant update to say, hey, he's getting close or he's a couple of weeks away. I haven't heard anything of that sort. And, I'm not even sure how much he's fully been here every day. And so, I think there's a lot of things that he's dealing with on the injury side of things. And so, maybe, like I said, I think usually in March, they have to make a call on, keeping guys. I have to look at what his contract looks like and when it becomes fully, if there's any guarantees, dates that he has to do there. But if not, then I could certainly see him being a guy where either they come to him with a restructure or a trade opportunity, or maybe it's a situation you're making $14-15 million and we haven't seen you play in over a year. We like what we see in Cater. I could certainly see that being a situation where they say, hey, we're just gonna move on.
All right. Yeah, I think they're going to move on. I think they're going to. He might be even a June casualty. They might even split.
That's what I'm saying. I have to look at his deal. I'm not sure. A lot of times, if he doesn't have any guarantees that hit at a certain date, then sometimes it's like if you're on the roster for the 5th day of the league year, then you get so and so. I haven't seen his contract, so I'm not sure. But I'd imagine if there is one of those, then he would. They would have to make a decision before that. If not, then obviously they could see him work out in the offseason to see how he looks and maybe make a call later if he doesn't. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. The Teron Armstead stuff. How lucky did they get? Because obviously it's not a tear, but it is a strain So a strain could be some kind of a tear, right? It could be
Usually a strain is a partial tear to an extent, right? It's kind of like when you have a sprained knee, it's a slight tear, a slight rip, but not a full deal. And so it's big for them that Teron's not out for a year. Usually when you hear pec, that's the first thing you think. He tore it and he's done. If he tore it fully, there's no doubt he would be out for the year, no hope for anything. And so I think there is some optimism. Teron's a tough dude. I'm sure he would love to play this week if they let him play. But I think the reality is that if you're the Dolphins, you say, hey, take your time, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, however we'd love to have you back for the Buffalo game. That would be the date I would circle and say, hey, that would be perfect. If not, we'd love to have you back whenever you can get back. As long as it's by the playoffs, it would be great. And so they're going to have a tough time without him. Starting this week, they're playing really good 49ers front. I mean, Nick Bosa, Armstead on that other side, the other Armstead, he's supposed to be getting close to being ready. They're the number one defense of football by almost all the numbers. And so a lot of people who have questioned the Dolphins, this is their week where they're eager to see, is this offense for real? And of course, the Dolphins face them without their best offensive lineman. And so we won't truly get an estimation, but they're going to have to do a lot, the Dolphins coaches, the Dolphins offensive line, to manage these guys up front so they don't wreck this game. And, this is a game we're really going to see the importance of Teron Armstead. But I think in the big picture, it's good news for this week. And obviously the short term, you're going to really miss him.
Yeah, I'm with you there. They're definitely going to end up missing him. All right, what do you do this week? How do you what's your listen, it's impossible to guess what the hell Mike McDaniel's going to do.
Right.
He keeps us completely off balance every week, and I'm sure he's doing it to his opponents too at the same time. How do you handle this? Do you go back with I would think you put Shell back at right tackle, right? But what do you do at left tackle?
Yeah, there's no right answer here. I know they signed Kendall Lamb to the practice squad. I don't imagine that it's going to be him because you're going to need time to get ready. The other option there is obviously Greg Little, which is not a great option, but you don't have a lot of really good options there, to be honest. I think regardless of who you put in there, you're going to have to help that side more than anything. I mean, they don't really like to play the game where you move a different guy to a different position, but obviously if they wanted to, they could try to put Eichenberg and see if he would be a guy at left tackle because he's played there before. And obviously, you have Robert Jones who can play left guard, and, you try to make it work there if you really wanted to, or you plug in one of the guys off the bench. And so, this is a situation where the 49ers know it's an issue. The Dolphins know it's an issue. And so as a coaching staff, you got to say, all right, we've been dealt the hand we've been dealt. How do we mitigate it? The good thing is Tua is left-handed, so it's not his blind side. He can see the free guy coming if he's coming all day. But ideally, I think you send a lot of running back chips. You have a lot of Durham Smythe playing, and he's on the field as a full-time blocker for a lot of the snaps, and you just play with a lot less 3 and 4 receiver sets.
So max protect.
Yeah, max protect. You see a lot of Tyreek and Jalen running 2 receiver sets out there and get open, and you see a lot less of Cedric Wilson, River Craycraft, and Trent Sherfield. That's the way I foresee it. But like you said, Mike McDaniel's a mystery guy. Maybe he comes out and says, heck, we're throwing 5 receiver sets and we're throwing it in 1 second. But I don't expect that to happen. But, my thought is that, hey, we go max protect, we minimize our receiver sets, and we try to have Tyreek, Jalen, and our running backs be the guy that killed them in the passing game.
Yeah, I think it'll be Shell at right tackle. I felt so bad for him when they moved him over to the left because the poor guy, he's not a left, and he was doing everything habitually on the right. And all of a sudden, hey, just go over. And people don't realize how difficult
it's hard.
It is.
It's hard.
It's near impossible.
There's the great quote. I think it was one interior Dolphins inside lineman a few years ago. I can't remember who it was, but maybe it was Jesse Davis. He mentioned that switching sides was like wiping your butt with your opposite hand. You can do it, but it's not comfortable.
Right.
I always think about that when I think about offensive line play. I'm like, hey, if I did, I guess I could do it, but it might be a little bit messier than it should be. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. No, it's really tough. I felt bad for him. So I think he'll go right. I think Greg Little will get the left because he's the healthy one, since Austin isn't. And then Austin can at least help out as a 6th lineman, or Durham Smythe can help out as a 6th lineman. I know they've wanted to keep Michael Dieter focused on center. So they've had him locked in, backing up Connor for sure. But he has played tackle, not only at Wisconsin, but he also played tackle for the Dolphins in his first year. I think they played him at right tackle, I think, to fill in or something for a game. And so maybe you use him on the outside as a sixth lineman at the same time. The good thing is, you know, when I watch San Francisco games, Bosa lines up actually on the left side.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that you're going to be able to roll away from Bosa, okay? And you can have, you know, two guys on the left side to help, you know, buy him some time. So I think changing the launch point also will be something important for the Miami Dolphins, that you don't keep them back there all the time, that you do a lot of boots and waggles with him to the right and to the left, but a lot of them maybe to the left away from Bosa. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, because actually Shell will be dealing with Bosa, not the left tackle.
Right. Yeah. They will have, like I said, I think Shell, you obviously still have to give help for Bosa, but the left side still has to get help as well, because they're not just a one-man defensive line. You know, they've got some dudes out there, and they don't blitz a lot. They just let their guys go up front. So it's not like, you know, the ideal thing is, hey, get the ball out quicker, right? Throw the short passes. But this team drops 7 in coverage. And they're really good as a coverage group. And so, you know, this is really honestly a bad game. There's not a good game to not have your start, but this is a bad game not to have Teron Armstead. And so they're going to have to figure out some things. The running game is going to have to be huge. And it's another tough week for that, because the 49ers, like a lot of defensive categories, are number 1 in run defense in the league. And so you've got Jeff Wilson and Raheem Mostert, who, by the way, have a lot to prove. They're playing their former team. I don't know if you've seen it, but there's already been a little bit of back and forth in social media. You know, Debo didn't like what Raheem said in Tyler Dunn's story about Tua, about Jimmy G. And, you know, Raheem said he was taken out of – there was a back and forth. And so, you know, these guys felt like San Fran dumped them for different reasons, for injuries, or for Jeff Wilson because McCaffrey showed up. And so they want to have a big game. And the Dolphins definitely – that, to me, I think is going to be the key to the game. Obviously, they're going to have to protect, but can this team have 100 yards rushing? To me, that's the difference between winning and losing. If you gave me a guess, it gave me a number. If it's over 100 for the Dolphins, they win rushing. If it's lower than 100, they lose. That's to me the story I see, because I think Tyreek and Jalen will get some of theirs, but maybe not a historically big day. And at some point, they're going to need to get a few first downs if they have a lead, or be able to get in field goal range late in the game to take the lead. And a lot of that comes from your backs.
Well, this is one of those games where Mike McDaniel's going to have to coach him up, man. And this is one of those games that really defines you as a coach, because they've lost those 3 games without Tua. Okay, now you have Tua. Can you adjust with Tua, but losing obviously a huge piece in Teron Armstead? Because we have noticed a couple of things. When Tua's out of the game, there's an enormous drop-off, whoever is quarterback after him. And we've also noticed that if Teron Armstead is out, there's an enormous drop-off after he gets out. There aren't a lot of those players, because Byron Jones, you've been able to overcome. Brandon Jones, you've been able to overcome. You're not really replacing them, but you're still kind of hanging in there, and you're playing pretty well. You're getting things done overall. But, brother, when those 2 guys are out, there is no replacing those guys. So this is all on McDaniel and his staff to scheme this thing up like they've never schemed it before.
Yeah, and I'm excited, man. Like to be real, like I've had very positive and high expectations for this team since I've seen them play. But the reality is, these next 6 games, we're going to see the difference between, is this team a fun playoff contender who can compete late and do something they haven't done in a few years, or is this team truly a Super Bowl contender? You know, because that's the question that's still lingering. I think a lot of Dolphins fans are hopeful, like, oh man, we go on a run, we win a Super Bowl, right? But you haven't played a 49ers team on the road without Teron Armstead. Like that's a playoff matchup. Heck, that it wouldn't shock me if that's a Super Bowl type matchup. 49ers could definitely make it to the Super Bowl. And so this is a type of game where you could see if we can hang with the big boys. You know, it's different than the Browns and the Texans. You got the 49ers, you got the Chargers, you got the Bills, you got the Patriots. I probably missed somebody. Oh, Packers. Don't worry about them. But you got the Patriots, and then you finish up with the Jets. Those are 5 out of the 6 teams are competing for playoff spots. And so, those guys got injuries too. And so, the reality is the coaching staff, Mike McDaniel, Josh Boyer on the defensive staff, this is where these guys are going to show their true worth. Because if they go 1-5, 2-4 down the stretch, and either don't make the playoffs or get bounced in the first round, all the good feels of the first 10 games of the season are going to be sour. And so I'm eager to see it. I'm not super worried about them, but I'm eager to see what they do. I think they'll come up to the challenge, but it'll certainly be a challenge.
I kind of talked about the hell that was going on in the prior year with Flo behind the scenes. Remember, I would tell you he's been running roughshod through the building. And so were you surprised that Tua was that open this weekend with the CBS people and talking about that? Because obviously that can happen to any of us. We can all question our abilities in anything when somebody doesn't believe in us or we get fired or cut or whatever it is, in life. You kind of question yourself at times. Were you surprised that he was that open? Because it seems like he has been willing to be more open lately.
No, and because of lately, we've seen a different version of him. And I think it's at the core of what we're all talking about. Mike McDaniel has pulled a different level of confidence and comfort out of him that he hadn't had his first 2 years in the NFL under Flo. And so you look at a situation where this is a guy who we all saw him a little bit in a shell. You see him, the way he's interacting with us in the media. He's kind of, you can see his body language. You can see that this is not a guy that's comfortable and happy. And now we've seen a complete 180. And so now you hear some of the stories, like there's always behind the scenes stories that we don't fully grasp, what a player's thinking. Like we weren't going to know that about Tua unless he told it. That's not something that's just like a public thing. But I think that Tua now is feeling more comfortable within himself, within his skin, within the scheme, within his coach, that he can share how he's feeling, how he's developed. And obviously he's given a lot of credit to Mike McDaniel. Like, I know a lot of Dolphins fans don't like when credit's given elsewhere because they think it's taken away from Tua. I think differently. I think you can give credit for Mike McDaniel rebuilding Tua's confidence and rebuilding him to a position where he can have this type of season. You can give credit to Tyreek and Waddle for giving him the speed he needed to be that, and still say that Tua himself is a big part of his reasoning. So I think Mike McDaniel, to me, and maybe I'm biased because I live here and I report out of here a lot of times, to me, he's got to be the front runner for Coach of the Year.
Well, with all the injuries, I'm not sure.
The way they're contending and the way what he's done for Tua. There's no other coach they had 3-4 offensive coordinators. Nobody gave us even a glimpse of this version of Tua on or off the field. And clearly it was in him. Clearly this is the college version that was in him. He just needed somebody who could bring it out. And so to me, that's a huge part of it. And the other part of it is you got a team that's 8-3 and playing really good ball, become one of the best offenses in football. And of course they got to finish the job. All that I'm saying about Tua and McDaniel, like I said, it gets decimated if you don't finish down the stretch, but they put themselves in really good position. And now it's just about finishing this hard stretch. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to win them all, but just win a few and get yourself in the playoffs. And anything can happen.
I'm just glad I don't look like a nutbag anymore. That's all. Because all I did was defend that dude and say, I think I ran it by you. I said, hey, if he was with the Rams, he wins the Super Bowl. If he goes to Minnesota, he takes him farther than Kirk Cousins. If he goes to Tennessee, he takes him farther than Ryan Tannehill would. I said that last year. To me, that's. Yeah. I know what I said. I know that I know I believe in this kid, that I know he can play ball, dude. I saw it in Alabama. Yeah. I saw him with a real coach, with real talent around him, with real offensive coordinators, with a real QB coach. The Darrell Bevell thing goes under the fucking radar, bro.
Yep.
Nobody talks about that. We keep talking Mike McDaniel, but we got to give Mike McDaniel credit for bringing a real quarterback coach, a guy that's worked with Hall of Fame quarterbacks. Absolutely. He didn't have that, dude. He had some guy that was with him in 7-on-7s in high school. Yep. What the hell is that, dude? And I like Charlie Fry personally, but he wasn't ready as a coach. he wasn't grooming NFL quarterbacks. Darrell Bevell's been grooming NFL quarterbacks for years, dude, and he's worked
really good ones too. Really
Frank
good
Smith
ones. And so
Frank Smith on the offensive line. You go get
Frank
Matt
Smith.
Applebaum from Boston College, because Lord knows in Boston College, if something they've been able to do is develop offensive linemen over there. And then obviously McDaniel, what you needed was the structure around the guy and some talent. And God bless McDaniel, bro, for bringing that structure around the damn guy.
And I'll give you even more credit. I'm giving Big O too much credit on a Tuesday, but I'll give you even more credit because your big thing was that you felt like, and we haven't seen it fully to fruition, but you felt like a lot of the offensive coaches did not maximize the talent or the skill set of players, particularly on the offensive line. And two of the guys you just mentioned, Frank Smith, Matt Applebaum, have helped this offensive line. They're not elite.
Connor plays center. They switched them
exactly. And to be honest, that was a question I had. I had a big question about Connor playing center. I told you all off season, like I'm not afraid to say what I was saying. Like I was worried mostly because he was having issues with snapping in camp. And so I'm like, man, you're moving a guy to guard from center for the first time. I'm not in love with that call, but the coaches saw something. They felt like he could be really good at it, and they were on the money because he has been really, really good as the anchor there. They knew exactly what they were doing there, and that's been a big part of it. And so, yeah, these coaches, like I said, we've 10 games. So I don't want to crown them as these dudes are the best dudes to ever coach, but so far through 10 games or 11 games, they made the right call on a lot of these offensive hires, and it really has been the key for this offense being one of the best in football. And just think about that. Just think about how we've talked about the Dolphins offense, the Dolphins offensive line, the Dolphins passing game in the last 5 years to after 11 games saying without equivocation, with complete confidence that they are one of the best offenses in football this season. And like not be saying that as a hyperbole or not saying it to please Dolphins fans, like saying it because that's what I see, and that's what the numbers say. That is a heck of a turnaround.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, man. And by the way, the other thing is, I think Josh Boyer. I think people need to get off his ass already, dude. Leave him alone. Guy's done a really good job overall with all those freaking injuries. It changed his defense because he could not play the defense he wanted because he did not have the secondary anymore that he had, the year before, and that was the plan. And so now he's had to adjust to it, and he's brought in a whole bunch of guys, just like these guys converted Connor to center. Robert Hunt's playing almost at a Pro Bowl level. Robert Jones has come in and played really, really solid. Yeah, I was actually really excited for Austin Jackson because he was showing progress in the offseason, and that high ankle injury has completely taken him away from any of the progress that he was making in the offseason. And I thought he was the other guy that was actually going to show you something with Robert Hunt, but unfortunately it has not materialized. But still, with that said, you get Brandon Shell off the street and you make him serviceable for 3 weeks at right tackle. Yep. They have done a marvelous job of maximizing this roster, and so has Josh Boyer.
Yep. The offensive line has not been a weakness this year, and that is something that it's been a very, very long time. And they haven't been, like I said, they haven't been elite. Sometimes they've been slightly below average, sometimes they've been slightly above average, but they have not been a huge weakness. We have not gone in a game, or not many games this year, where we were like, man, the offensive line just got their butt kicked that game. It just hasn't happened. Whereas in previous years, they would sometimes win in spite of their offensive line. And so that's a big, as much as we, it's not fun for TV. I'm not honestly going to talk a ton about offensive line play, although I will talk today about offensive line play without Teron. But the offensive line the improvement has been great for the offense. I'm eager to see how they respond down the stretch. Like I said, a lot of challenges. We'll see.
Danielle Bruzuela is sent in a super chat, but I think he's out for the year. He says Liam Eichenberg had MCL almost 5 weeks ago. Is he nearing returning? Isn't he done for the year?
I don't think he's done for the year. So I mentioned him earlier because I was planning to, or I hope somebody plans to, if I'm not there, ask for where his clarification is. But if I remember right, I thought that he wasn't fully ruled out. Maybe I'm wrong, but I thought when it came out, it was a MCL, but it wasn't fully torn. And so that there were hope that he was going to be back. I don't know if it's going to be this week, but from what I thought was that he was going to potentially be back.
Okay. All right. Wow. That's interesting. I thought he was done pretty much for the year. Well, we'll see. That we'll see if he can actually add some depth, because there's no way he's taking the job back from Robert Jones. I would think if Robert continues to play at the level he's playing, you stick with him. All right, what do you got working on the NFL Network this week?
I will be on TV in about an hour 15-ish, talking some Dolphins 49ers. And so I'll be there with Steve Weich in the first segment, talking some Dolphins 49ers. Fun storylines there. And so we'll banter for about 4 or 5 minutes about this game. He'll actually be the guy at the game this week. Unfortunately, they don't want to send the Miami guy cross country to Cali. I guess they think I might get stuck or something. So I've got Cincinnati and the Bengals Chiefs, which will also be a good game. But just being frank, I would have probably a tad rather be at Dolphins 49ers. But I'll be talking with that with him in the first.
Cincinnati.
Yeah. They're both going to be really good games. They're both going to be really good. Like, I'm not complaining.
Yeah.
You got Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes. Excellent game. But I am so pumped to see what Tua and this offense does against that 49ers D. And so Steve Weiss will be the reporter for that game, but I'm still talking that game throughout the week. And second hour, I'll be talking with Baldy, who I love. And I'm sure he'll talk plenty offensive line, because he loves the big boys in the trenches. So
and
he's going to give some breakdowns.
Mike McDaniel, bro.
And he loves Mike McDaniel. So I'll be talking some Dolphins 49ers with him in the second hour. So definitely check it out. My last hit's at 2:25, and I'm going to jet to a TV to see this USA soccer game. And I'll be back on TV Thursday talking some ball too. And then Sunday, like I mentioned, I will be at the Bengals Chiefs game. So that's my week.
All right. Enjoy the White Castle in Cincinnati.
I'm not trying the chili. I've not yet, and I still no. My stomach.
That's so overrated, bro. Yeah. It really is very overrated. But White Castle, late at night when you're, you've had a party night, it's the perfect place to straighten out before you get back to the hotel. So that's all I'm saying. All right. We will talk later on in the week, my friend. You be good.
Sounds good. You too.
There you go. The Wolf Pack has been unleashed.
This has been the KSDT CPA Pro Football Report with NFL insider Cameron Wolf. KSDT is recognized by Forbes as one of the top tax accounting firms for 2022. KSDT CPA is a full-service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit them at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370.
All right. By the way, I gotta bring something up here in a second. Do want to remind you, Red Recover is a great sponsor of our program and our platform, folks, and it promotes faster muscle recovery following your workouts. It'll also help out in alleviating the pain and discomfort from old surgeries, old injuries. We all have them in our lives. We all pick them up throughout our lives. And we wake up with them, or we're a little stiff, or it hurts us before we work out, or those kind of things. Folks, Red Light Recovery has been around a while. Now, redrecover.com, they have come up with the best wraps for all kinds of parts of your body, all right, whether it's your knees, your ankles, your elbows, your shoulders, your neck, your back. I'm telling you, they've got it all. They've got wraps for your dog's hips, too, small dogs, bigger dogs. It is great for everybody, for the kids. There are no side effects. It's all natural. It's great for you workout warriors out there, so you can use it before and after your workouts. It allows you to optimize your workouts and get the best out of it and get the blood flow going. Go to redrecover.com. I use the hat to grow my hair. You can do that too. I mean, it's all kinds of things. Go to the website, redrecover.com. Check out the blogs. Check out the video blogs. Listen, you're going to see all kinds of things there, but use our code Big O. You will get 10% off. The wraps are incredibly affordable. Okay, that's the other thing. You're going to be intimidated. I've gotten it sometimes from, these things are expensive. No, they're not expensive. And then on top of that, they're going to give you 10% off. They had a bigger discount over the weekend with the Black Friday sales and all that stuff. But check it out. Hayden Hurst, NFL tight end, he uses Red Recover to optimize his workouts. Go to redrecover.com. By the way, can you imagine being a young quarterback in the NFL, and then you've got this veteran coming at you and asking you some uncomfortable questions just as you walk in? So Deshaun Kaiser says Aaron Rodgers made a bold first impression when he joined the Packers in 2018, claiming the superstar asked him whether he believed in any conspiracy surrounding the September 11 terrorist attacks. The free agent shared bizarre tidbits during an appearance on the Brenneman Show when he said AR wasted no time breaking the ice in the first meeting together. He shut the door, and the first thing that came out of Aaron Rodgers' mouth was, "Do you believe in 9/11?" So the former second-round pick clearly was puzzled by the question, replying, "What do I believe in 9/11? Yeah, why wouldn't I believe it?" He says he was like, "You should read up on that." And then we just started learning about the playbook, and I was like, wow, I don't know where this is going. Now, he isn't painting the Super Bowl champ to be a 9/11 denier or crazy conspiracy theorist, explaining it more of a bonding exercise, and it worked. What it ended up being was a thought experiment where he wanted me to go back and look into some of the conspiracies around it. And Kaiser and Rodgers' time as teammates only lasted one season, so there wasn't much time. So he says, he says people, especially those who lost loved ones in 9/11, may question the use of conspiracies to build a relationship, but Kaiser seems to have appreciated its efficiency. We really bonded over that and started sharing some books, and we started talking about some other things, he said, some history, some business, some finance. So kind of an odd way to break the ice, but I guess everybody has their ways. And, you know, there is Aaron Rodgers. He is not the average cat. You can tell that he's not the average cat. What are you going to do? Anyway, if you want to get in on the program on the Welt and Rayom text line, 855-912-1056. That's 855-912-1056. Remember, if you happen to be in the Boca West Palm area, after the show here at 1 o'clock, I'm taking off, and I'm going to go up to Hijinks Sports Grill in Boca to go hang out with Rob and the great people out there at Hijinks. So if you happen to be in the Boca West Palm area, go to Hijinks Sports Grill. Would love to meet you out there. Love to say hi. Love to meet the people that support the show, take a picture, whatever it is. So we'll be out there. So if you want to meet me at probably the best looking sports bar in South Florida, meet me at Hijinks. Okay? Meet me at Hijinks. And if you don't believe me, it's the best looking sports bar in South Florida, go to the Instagram page of Hijinks Sports Grill. And all I can tell you is you're welcome. All the ladies there are either current or former Dolphin cheerleaders. So I'll see you at Hijinks today around 2:30. I think I'll be there. Let's see. Big O was the person you had so much faith in, but ultimately ended up just not being so good. I had faith in Dexter Pittman for some reason. See, somebody I had a lot of faith in and didn't come through. That's a great one. That's a great question. Trying to think of somebody I had a lot of faith in and really didn't work out. There's got to be a couple of those in my lifetime. I mean, there are people that I've had faith in that weren't, not like Tua, that like I thought he could be great. Also, Motley Crue is now touring with John 5. They just added dates. I mean, if you go pay for Motley Crue now, you are getting ripped off. Seriously. Not because of John 5. He's a phenomenal guitarist. It's just Vince Neil can't sing. They're mailing it in. God, they're stealing money right now at this point. You're not even getting the Motley Crue that we used to get years ago. Really bad. I'm trying to think of somebody that I had great as a Miami Dolphin. I'm trying to think. Because I probably could come up with guys around the NFL that I thought were going to be great and did not become great. Let me think about that. I know there's several, and I don't know why I'm brain farting right now, but there's got to be several, not just one. There's got to be several. And some of you may remember, Hugh Green was great. It was just the injury when they traded for him here. Parker, that's a great one. Yes, Devontae Parker. Love Devontae Parker coming out of the draft. I thought he had everything you needed. Possession guy, speed, can get behind the defenses, can leap over everybody. That's a great one. Thank you, Mike Thompson. Thank you, sir. Devontae Parker was exactly that guy. I was super excited about the drafting of Devontae Parker, and it became a sack of injuries. You could tell he had all the talent that I thought he could develop into. I mean, we all saw it. There were always flashes with Devontae, but the injuries took a toll, and he was never the guy. Devontae Parker is definitely number one on the list there. There's more. There's more. No, I never had any high hopes from definitely not Ryan Tannehill or Mike Wallace. Those weren't. I like Chris Chambers. I never looked at him as great. Yatil Green, I was not a fan of. I ripped Jimmy Johnson the day he drafted him. Again, this is not the show. If you want to hear what you want to hear all the time, this is not the show for you. And people ripped me for ripping the whole Yatil Green pick. And what I saw in Yatil Green, I should have seen in Devontae Parker. But I didn't watch Devontae Parker all the time. I know he had the one big injury, but that's about it. With Yatil, it was always one injury after another, after another, after another. I never had any high hopes for him. Let me see. Sammy Smith, that's a great one. I thought that was a hell of a pick by the Dolphins. He punished the Canes for 160 yards, 150 something, 160 yards. He was big, strong, fast. We thought that they got the right back. Was it the 8th, 9th, 10th pick in the draft, right? Was Sammy the drug pin Smith? That was one. That's a great one right there. I thought so too. Yeah. Daryl Gardner, I never looked at him as a great player coming out of school. That would be a lie. I would be lying to you. Unlike Devontae Parker, unlike Sammy Smith, those guys look like they could be great. I didn't follow Baylor. I think he came out of Baylor. I didn't follow Baylor football enough to even know about Gardner. But, you know, he came in with the track record of being a guy that turns it on and off, and that's exactly what he was. But there's no doubt that he had the ability to be great. He had moments that, my God, he would blow up the entire offensive line, and you were like, Daryl, can you do that more often? Because there were moments that Daryl Gardner was, wow. Now, Cecil had a lot of baggage when he got here. You were just hoping he'd stay straight. And he had that ankle injury, too. That wasn't good for him. I didn't look at Cecil. I didn't look at Jawan James that way. Ronnie Brown was the number 2 overall pick. He looked like a good player. No, I didn't look at him that way either. I'd be lying if I told you I did. Marco Coleman. I think the Cobra, I'm trying to remember how I felt, but I think that might have been one of those guys that I was really pumped up about back in the day. And he did all right, but he wasn't as good as we thought he could have been. I think Marco Coleman was one of those guys. Randall Hill with Marino and his, yeah, I liked him, but I didn't look at him that way. By the way, did you see this girl Ivana Knoll at the World Cup? Well, apparently she was willing to wear something pretty revealing, you know? And in Qatar, this is not what you want to be wearing. She's a smoke show, by the way. Absolute smoke show. So this woman, was she rooting for Croatia, right? Croatia's the one that uses the checkers. So she was there in Qatar. And normally you're not supposed to wear this kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying? Ivana Knoll. I know she's smoking. Holy moly. Wow. Man. I had no idea who this Ivana Knoll was until this story. And I got to say, that's impressive right there. That's mighty impressive. Big O, heard of any meetups in Cali for the Dolphins-Niner games? Yes, John. We've been talking about it. What is wrong with you, John? Are you not tuning into the show? Sean Stanley, show this young man what's going to happen in San Francisco. There's a fan zone. Meet the legends, baby. You're going to be able to meet Duper and Clayton on the Saturday before the game. Okay? Eric Wright is also going to be there, and John Taylor on the San Fran side. Saturday, December 3rd, Mission Peak Sportsplex, 420 Technology Place in Fremont, California. Get on out there, folks. There you see the link. We have the link on our YouTube page there. When you hit community, you'll find the link. You can hit it. You can find out more about it. You're going to have Dolphin fans there, a bunch of Dolphin fans there. It's hosted by the Miami Dolphin Fan Club. NorCal, his fan club is going to be a part of that. So get your asses out there the day before and that meetup. I wish I could be there. I'd give anything to be out there and hang out with you guys, broadcast from there and all that. By the way, we're going to have Mark Clayton on Thursday. Mark Clayton will be joining us to promote the event. So we'll have some fun talking with Clayton, talking with the second best receiver in his era. Yeah, I said it. Jerry Rice and then Mark Clayton. Okay? Look out. Just announced Greta Van Fleet is back. The Dreams Gold Tour. New dates are here. They're on sale. Look out. Look out. Look out. Oh, wait a minute. Can I do this one? No, I got to do this one then. You see? There we go. All right, new dates are set. They're going to be, let's see, the Amalie Arena, March 10th. So I get to go back March 10th to the Amalie Arena. How about that? I like it. It says, get ready, Florida, and then Jacksonville. Oh, I might travel. I might have to travel up to Jacksonville. Let me see. What's up? What's March 6th? What's March 6th and March 10th? Oh, yeah. Remember I told you that they were going to come back. We're still waiting for the Hollywood date. So I still need the Hollywood date, but we're going to have at least the Tampa one. So March 6th and 10th.
It's a Monday and a Friday.
Oh, dude. So I could definitely do March 6th in Jacksonville. The Tampa one on a Friday is the 10th. Oh, you know what we can do that? Yeah, you know what I can do? Instead of being at Acura on the 10th, we'll be at Acura on the 3rd, and then Acura on the 31st, and we'll be at KSDT on the 24th. And we can do, actually, no, we can do Acura the 17th and the 31st of March, and I can go to both the 6th and the 10th. That's it. Done. History in the archives. I'm in. I'm going to Greta Van Fleet in Jacksonville on the 6th, and I'll be in Tampa on the 10th. That's how it goes, baby. That's how we roll. Yeah. Ha. And then I'm waiting for my Hollywood date, which I already have the tickets for Hollywood. I already have the tickets for Tampa. So, no, I don't have the tickets for Tampa. I can now go see Tampa, and I can go see the Jacksonville one. So we are set at the VyStar Vet Arena, right? In Jacksonville, the VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena in Jacksonville. I like it. I'll see you there March 6th. And then I'll see you in Tampa March 10th. And, you got to hit Burns Steakhouse, too, that day. Oh, yes. A little Chateaubriand. Oh, love it. Yeah, what a day. Little Burns, a little Greta Van Fleet. Oh, man, life is good. Life is good. Knight says, Fuller, man, I felt dumb. Oh, Will Fuller. Hey, listen. No, Will Fuller, you did not feel dumb, Knight. Okay? Will Fuller had the talent to play, and he was fast. Now, was he injury prone? Yes, and unfortunately, that's what happened, and it sucked. But that happens to all of us, man. I thought Will Fuller could add something too. We were all wrong there, man. That's not a big deal. Juice F5, thank you for the love in the super chat. He says, can Dolphins start Skyler and see if the line holds up for a half, then put 2 in? I'd rather take a loss with Skyler than with Tua get injured. Juice, but then if you fall behind against that defense, then you're putting Tua behind the 8 ball. No, you can't do that, my brother. You got to start with Tua, and you've got to be creative, and you got to coach him up, man. And you got to figure out a way to get it done. That's the only thing. By the way, the Larry Little Hall of Famers night is December 2nd. The golf tournament is on the 3rd. If you want to go to the golf tournament and you want to be a part of the foursomes and join some great former players, former Dolphins and former NFL greats, 954-867-6511. That's 954-867-6511. If you want to be a part of Larry Little's NFL Hall of Famers night and want to be a part of those foursomes. So call the great people there, and they will take care of you. 954-867-6511. Jake Long, Jonathan, you were right. Jake Long was a great player. It was just the injuries that curtailed his career. And rest in peace, Tony Sperano, but I'm sorry, my brother. It was your fault that you played him in a fourth quarter of a preseason game, the first preseason game, I believe it was, or the second. No, it was the first preseason game of the year. You played him in the fourth quarter in a rainy baseball field, and he busted his knee, and he was never the same again. Jake Long, it just got burned by bad luck, but Jake Long was a great player. He just had terrible luck, man. G-Firm, Deion, I didn't know enough about Deion Jordan to think that he was going to be great or not. It was a bust, but I didn't know enough that, like Parker, I saw a lot of. Sammy Smith, I saw a lot of. So I felt good about those guys, and I was wrong, But Deion, I can't say that, oh, my God, he's going to be awesome or whatever. I had no idea. And there was some stuff that came out in the draft and all that. And so, yeah. Let's see. Man, how many NFL players could have been great if we lived in a perfect world where there were no injuries? Yes. Amen to that. Amen to that, my friend. If you win with Armstead this week, is this the biggest win of the year? You've had some pretty big wins, right? You've beaten Buffalo. You came back. You beat the Ravens. You've had some memorable things go on. You dominated the Patriots. They never had a shot to win that game. That was an impressive way to start off the season. But you're playing the number one defense. You're playing one of the best pass rushers in the NFL. You're playing one of the best front sevens in the NFL. You're playing maybe arguably the best defensive line in the NFL. You're playing it without Teron Armstead now. You're, all-pro left tackle. A guy that when you watch him play, you see that he erases people. Like Myles Garrett had no shot the entire day because Teron Armstead locked his ass up like he does most people that line up in front of him. You're not going to get really the best of Teron Armstead. He's going to get the best of you because he's one of those dudes. Okay? So you now got to coach it up. You got to keep your quarterback alive. You got to keep him upright. You got to design an offense that can attack that defense, that can keep that defensive line off balance. You're going to need to change the launch point. You're going to need to move Tua around, and you are going to need, at times, you've won some games where Tyreek did not have to be special or Waddle didn't have to be special. In this game, both will have to be special. Would this not be the best win of the season on the road without Byron Jones, without Brandon Jones? I could go on, Nick Needham, without Teron Armstead, all these losses that have happened. Austin Jackson got lost at the beginning of the season. That was supposed to be your starting right tackle. Liam Eichenberg is your starting left guard. He's out, I thought, for the year. He might even come back still, but whatever. And you've had to replace these people. And some you've been able to replace. Some you've gotten by without Byron Jones and Brandon Jones and Nick Needham. But you can't get by without Tua. And can you get by without Teron Armstead? And it scares all of us because you saw what happened in that Houston game, and that's against Houston when Teron Armstead went out. Screwed up, man. That is screwed up. But this is an opportunity. And while Mike McDaniel has to be in the talk of being coach of the year, you talk about his greatest win would be this Sunday in San Francisco against that defense and the way your offense right now, your offensive line is in shambles. And if you're able to solve that problem and keep Tua pretty much clean, you can win. Right? If I told you you're going to keep Tua clean, do you win? I bet all of you say yes, pretty much. And by the way, please don't forget to smash the hell out of the like button. Okay? Let's go. Get us over 1,000, man. We want to get over 1,000 likes every day. And help us get to 20,000 subscribers. Come on, baby. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Got 16,400. Let's go. 3,600 away. Man, we can get there quickly if you spread the word and hit that like button. So thank you. But if they are able to overcome the loss of Armstead in a road game against this defense, this would be the best accomplishment that they have had so far this season. In a season where there's a lot of things that they've accomplished, and you can say, wow. Right now, by the way, the money came in on the Dolphins. It went from 4 to 3.5. The over and under from 47 to 46.5. San Francisco, the money line, minus 180. Miami, plus 155. So San Fran's still favored, but by half a point less in this game. So it looks like some people have faith that the Dolphins are going to win. So they put some money on the Dolphins. Interesting. Jimmy Garoppolo, put him in a position where he has to win the game, and maybe you got a chance to beat him. But let me tell you, if somehow or another Mike McDaniel and his staff find a way to win this game, that'll be impressive. That'll be the best win so far of the 2022 season. They'll get bigger once you get to the playoffs, but hard to top this one. If you beat the Niners, it's not as impressive if you go beat the Chargers. It's great, but it was more impressive to beat the Niners. This will be a hell of a challenge for them. All right, let's take a quick break. Give us 2 minutes. Manny Navarro is going to join us with our Canes Wear Miami Hurricanes report.
Why is it that you get locked out in the worst moments of your life?
Where are my car keys? Man, I can't find my house keys.
In those frustrating moments, you need a locksmith you can count on. A. Lenny Locksmiths in South Florida, from Miami to Port St. Lucie. In Central Florida, A. Lenny locks it down in Orlando and Tampa Bay. Lockouts or lock changes for home or business. Car key replacements and programming all model cars. 24-hour service. Call them at 855-869-5625. Go to the website at alennylocksmith.com.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. Time for Canes fans to get what they want. Information, insight, and perspective. It's the Caneswear Miami Hurricanes Report with Manny Navarro, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. Here's Big O and insider Manny Navarro.
There he is, locked and loaded. How you feeling, my man? You feeling good?
Doing great. Oh, how are you?
Excellent, man. Just getting ready for another week. Good thing is I don't have to go 7 days a week. So my voice is thanking me, my brother. I mean, really,
yes.
It was hurting me down the stretch here. And so now we got to recover a little bit here overall. Mario's got to do a lot of recovery. I wonder what he did after the season was over for some kind of therapy or something, dude. I wonder if he went to like a day spa to like move in for a week or something. I don't know. He took a mud bath for like 3 days straight or something.
I wish I knew what Mario really did to let go, because I don't think he really ever does that. I think he just goes right back to work, as he likes to tell everybody in every press conference, right? That he's got to go right back to work. I think, recruiting, transfer portal, coaching, all of those things are on his plate right now. This is really the busiest time of year because you have to start planning for what is inevitably going to be a major roster overhaul here. And I think, that's the issue. Him probably reaching out to players that he actually wants to keep and making sure that they don't go anywhere.
All right. So what do we know? What are you hearing? What names are already getting in line to get out and hit that transfer portal?
Well, listen, I mean, there you could go up and down the roster and make guesses at it. Oh, I mean, there's a lot of guys who didn't end up playing this year that were hoping for big roles on this team. I'm not going to sit here and speculate over all of them. 6 of them have already announced it. There's 2 more that everybody pretty much knows are gone. Keyshawn Smith, the wide receiver, hasn't really played at all in the last month of the season. Avery Huff is a linebacker, has been here 4 years, played nothing but special teams. So those are 2 more guys in addition to the 6 that have already announced. I'm expecting at least, like I said before, probably close to 24 guys when it's all said and done. And, really what you need to think about here as the calendar changes and goes forward is December 5th. That's the day everybody can put their name in the hat. And you're starting to see guys across the country, at other programs that were big time recruits, just like Miami, right? Because, I mean, it's not like Miami's guys weren't highly recruited either. They're all 4 stars and 5 stars too, right? I think everybody keeps asking, well, what do you think they're going to do? Which players are going to be here? It's hard to answer that question until after December 5th, until we start to see a list of names of who actually goes in there and who's looking for a payday, because that's what it's going to come down to. I think the best players, the guys that are smart, are going to use this system to become free agents like they can be and see if their own school puts forth the money to keep them, or somebody else comes along and offers them a better deal. And I think that's what we're going to see here. We're going to see unparalleled free agency in college football here for the first time, because I think the last couple of years, guys were starting to get that idea. But think about Jordan Addison. What if he'd put his name in as soon as the transfer period started, right? As soon as the season ended. If he does that, who knows how much money he could have yanked out of the system here. So I think we're going to start to see more guys do that starting December 5th. And so it's hard for anybody to sit here and honestly tell you, hey, I know this is what's going to happen with this roster, because I think it's all fluid. It all depends on who wants to leave and who's actually going to stay.
How's Mario going to work with that? Some guy trying to hit the transfer portal and hustle them for a better NIL deal. How's he going to work with that?
His name's John Ruiz, right? I think that's the way that it works. Look, college football wants to separate church and state, right? They want to say that college teams can't participate in NIL, that coaches aren't supposed to be involved, that's a separate entity. But we all know the reality here, man. Like, that's why you have to have a football GM. That's why you need to have a guy like Alonzo Highsmith or somebody else who's in charge of this, who maybe is the middleman. That's where I think the NCAA is going to have to change things here, because it's going to be very interesting to see what happens in the coming weeks. Which schools lose some really good players? Last year, Jordan Addison was basically it, right? Everybody else who entered the transfer portal was looking for a fresh start. Jordan Addison sort of became the first real free agent in college football, and he knew where he was going. He knew he was going to USC, so he didn't really put his name out there. I'm interested to see how college football adapts to this new era and how many guys use it to their benefit. Because there are some really good players that, if they're smart, this is what they're doing. They're shopping themselves in the offseason.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. All right. On the recruiting side, does it look like that class is, now that the season is over and there's no more hell to face every week and possibly scare these kids? Right. Does it look like the class has stayed pretty strong outside of the kid that left to Florida?
Yeah, outside of Jaden Rashada, I think so. I mean, it looks like most of those guys want to come in and look, this is what he does. He's a good recruiter. He can convince people to come here and play football, even if the results look absolutely terrible. And so I think he's got a buy-in for the majority of those recruits. I think there are some guys that Miami, as the season has progressed, watching these guys play as seniors, that they may not want to sign in this class. There may be guys that are kind of dropped, quote unquote, dropped, or look for new opportunities, etc. So I think you could see a little bit of shuffling with some of the players, but I think for the most part, the main guys, the Cormani McLeans, the Francis Mauigoas, and potentially some more high-end top 100 recruits here could be joining Miami's class. I think this is going to be a top 10 class. I think Mario wanted a top 5 class. In the end, with all the shuffling, with the NIL that's going to start on the NIL, the transfer window is going to start December 5th, that could force some schools to let go of some top-end recruits. And that's why this thing is so fluid. That's why I keep telling everybody, wait to see who becomes available in the transfer portal before you start checking off names in the recruiting class. The recruiting class comes second to the transfer portal. Like, you can't sign until the third Wednesday as far as high school recruits. You can't sign until the third Wednesday in December. Well, guess what? December 5th is when the transfer portal window opens. And if Alabama or Georgia or somebody wants to take a really good player, and all of a sudden they say, the 5-star offensive tackle or the 5-star running back says, well, you just got a kid who's a junior who's transferring in from another school. Why do I want to go there? So that's why I'm saying this whole thing is so fluid that we really don't know how things are going to shake out until after the transfer portal really gets rolling.
Some people tell me TVD's gone. What do you think?
I don't think so. Look, at the conversations that I've had with his reps and people in the past was, he wanted to go to the NFL this year, but I think he pretty much proved that he couldn't, because based on the season he had, and plus his shoulder being injured and kind of the recovery. So he has to come back to college. And my understanding is Miami wants him, and my understanding is TVD wants to come back. He wants to be here at Miami, quarterback this team. Now, does he want the roster to change? Absolutely.
But why? Why would he want to when he doesn't fit the offensive coordinator's style? And the offensive coordinator doesn't do enough adjusting to him. So after this whole year, why would you want to put yourself through that risk again, that if you don't play well in his system, hell, he could be benching you for somebody else? Why not go somewhere where maybe, I don't know, does Rhett Lashley need a quarterback next year?
I don't think so.
And light the hell up and then say, okay, here's my stats. Now I can go to the league.
Everything I've heard about SMU, and I understand that's sort of the fit, right? You think automatically go back and play with your offensive coordinator, your quarterback's coach. That seems like the obvious thing to do. But I think the reality is SMU is in a different position. There's a lot of external pressure on Rhett Lashley over there to play Texas kids. He's got Texas quarterbacks on his roster. And you have to understand the dynamic in college football. Even if he brings in Tyler Van Dyke for 1 year, that's going to piss off people that are supporting him financially, that are helping people, as far as NIL dollars. And so there's a whole other world connected to all of this kind of stuff. And quite honestly, I think, Tyler, he's got to look at this situation and say, well, Miami needs me, right? They need a quarterback. Mario doesn't have anybody else. Emory Williams isn't going to come in as a true freshman and play right away. So unless Miami somehow finds
my point,
some 5-star, former 5-star guy in the transfer portal, I don't think that's and personally, I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, if you're one of those quarterbacks right now, are you looking at Miami with the offensive line and receivers they have and
No,
saying,
no, no,
that's my first choice?
no.
So I think this is more of a
Good point.
marriage. This is more of a marriage of just what's best for each side.
Yeah, that makes sense. I just wonder if the kid, it's just, and Jakari got some playing time, so you wonder if they start mixing him in, next year. And I'm just saying, because in a way you got to look out for yourself, and I understand that, and it's great to have people sell out for your teams and all that, but these are human beings, these are individuals too, and sometimes it's a detriment to what they're trying to do. Jake Garcia is gone, right?
I mean, I would assume so. He's under contract with Ruiz for another year. He's got another, I think, 60 or 80,000 for next season in terms of NIL dollars.
Wow.
So for him, again, this is so hard to talk about now, because the way we used to think of the college football calendar, right? Where, high school recruiting is so important. Like, we have to start programming our brains to start thinking, the coaching carousel, the way that affects things, right? Who goes where, which coaches leave, and end up at which places. All of that plays a factor into, and then the transfer portal, like just who else is available out there. Right. I don't think Jake Garcia is a top 30 quarterback in the transfer portal. Do you? I mean,
no.
I mean, I couldn't put him in there the way he turned the ball over. So where's he going to go?
I don't know. Yeah.
And to me, that's like one of the last To me, that's one of the last FAU doesn't even have a coach. Which, by the way, I heard some chatter.
Does Nkosi have one more year left, or was this his senior year?
No, this was it. Nkosi, this was his 14th season in the league, so he has to go. I mean, but yes, I think it's like, to me, there's a pecking order. If you're a stud, you're going to end up somewhere quickly. If you're like the 31st guy on the list, you're going to wait a while to find a new home, right? So I think Jake, in his situation, it's obvious. If I'm him, I'm wanting to play someplace else because the struggles were real, right? And you need to find somewhere where you can get on the field. This is year 3. But at the same time,
and he's never getting on the field here, because if Van Dyke comes back for one more year, those young guys are the next ones in line. They're not going to spend their time with Jake.
That's why I'm telling you, man, like, everybody, like, we can't sit here. We can't even throw darts on the board, because the reality is like I said, there's a pecking order, and his dart is going up 30 moves from now. That's when we'll know what happens with Jake Garcia. He could enter the transfer portal if he wants, but he's leaving $60,000 to $80,000 behind. And he may not get a scholarship somewhere else. There may, at least at the FBS level, he may have to go down to the FCS level. Wow.
All right. What else you got going on with the Canes this week and the Athletic?
Well, look, there's going to be plenty of coverage. Recruiting, as I said, is picking up. The transfer portal, all of those things. There'll be a roster breakdown. I'll be on top of that. We are putting out a top 50 games of the regular season list. Miami did make it once, but not for good reasons. So 50 most memorable games of the 2022 regular season. I got Recruiting Confidential I'm working on with Grace Rayner, who's one of our national writers. There's a ton of college football stuff in there. And like I said, the coaching carousel, that is so important, because assistant coaches, coordinators, all those kind of things are affected. And then players and commitments switch schools. So I wish there were answers, but we're so early in the process that I would just tell Canes fans, hang in there and wait until spring football starts, because the thing will change all the way up until spring football. You really won't know what kind of team you have until spring football begins, because at that point you may still have defections, but it'll be much smaller in capacity. That's when the roster, the coaching staff, everything should be in place.
Follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro. Catch his work there at The Athletic, and make sure you subscribe. I don't know if they got the Black Friday stuff still going on or Cyber Monday stuff, but they had some really good deals.
It was $1 for 12 months. So you can, I don't know if it's still available. It might have ended yesterday. I'm not 100%.
If not, they usually have some good deals going on.
Yep.
Plus, you get all the news nationally too, and international soccer and all kinds of good stuff. Mm-hmm. So check it out there at The Athletic. Manny, we will catch up later on in the week, my friend. Appreciate you.
Take care, all.
You got it. There you go. Manny Navarro. And by the way, the Florida Gridiron Roundtable will not go on today. We will start doing it now once a month from here on out. So we'll probably get them right before their bowl games. Well, 2 of the 3 that are going to have bowl games. And then we'll continue throughout the offseason. Although tonight, the Miami Hurricanes watch with Mike McCoy rolls on. Gabby Arrudia is going to join him, so he will be there. All right, that is your Miami Hurricanes report.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CS, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
All right. You know what we like doing here when sports and business collide? We like doing something called the KSDT CPA Sports Business Report. Well, if you are a horse racing fan, guess what? And this is cool. Churchill Downs and DraftKings have announced today a multi-year agreement that will bring a pari-mutuel wagering on horse racing to DraftKings CDI subsidiary Twin Spires. It'll provide advanced deposit wagering technology to DraftKings. Twin Spires is the premier market-leading online horse racing wagering platform in the U.S., and DraftKings will launch DK Horse in the coming months, which will allow DraftKings eligible customers to bet on a horse race using a standalone branded app. The initial launch of DK Horse will require customers to sign up and deposit funds separate from that of their one account, one wallet tethered to DraftKings Sportsbook, Casino, and Daily Fantasy Sports app. Plans to integrate DK Horse into DraftKings product suite will be announced later in a date. DK Horse is expected to be available initially in 21 states, pending all necessary licensing and regulatory approvals, and is scheduled to launch ahead of the 149th running of the Kentucky Derby. And what do you want to bet that it will not be in this state? Jesus. It's always the same crap in our state with all this. It takes forever. DeSantis had it, bro, and then we got screwed. Give DeSantis credit. At least he had the gambling stuff going on and ready for us. I was having a blast with that Hard Rock app. The live betting, oh, man. I got to tell you, maybe eventually it would have turned around on me, but the live betting was the best, and I was just absolutely killing it, dude. Killing it with that live betting. It was awesome. All right, if you want to get in on the Welt and Rayom text, that is your KSDT Sports Business Report.
This has been the KSDT Sports Business Report. KSDT CPA is one of South Florida's largest and one of the country's fastest growing accounting firms. KSDT is recognized by Forbes as one of the top tax and accounting firms for 2022. KSDT CPA is a full service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit online at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370.
All right. So you saw the brave young lady that was dressed very risque, not for us, not in this country, not in most countries, but in Kraptar. They actually were doing that in Kraptar. And it's very dangerous to do stuff like that in Kraptar. Let me tell you, the other day, my man, the soccer guy, Wall, and he wore that rainbow shirt. And boy, I got to tell you, he got away with it because he's Grant Wall. And so he's the man. But now we had a protester in the World Cup storm the field with a rainbow flag. How about that? So the Portugal-Uruguay world match was interrupted by an unexpected intruder on Monday when a man holding a rainbow flag stormed onto the pitch in protest. The spectators made his move 50 minutes into the contest, running at full speed before getting stopped by security and escorted off the grass. Along with the rainbow flag, the man was wearing a Superman shirt that said, "Save Ukraine." Okay, that was in the front. In the back, it said, "Respect for Iranian women" on the back. And of course, homosexuality is illegal in Kraptar, and the stunt is sure to come with some ramifications. That's some, like, I get it when you do it in America, whatever, bro, you'll get a slap in the hand, they'll take you to the holding cell, whatever, you get a short arrest, and you're out the door, and no big deal. You can laugh about it in your record if you feel like it or whatever. But you do it here in this country, in Kraptar, they could actually like arrest you. Brittany Griner. I'll just leave my vial of weed in the bag. Big deal. I'm Brittany Griner. They're not going to do anything to me, even in Russia. Oh, mistake, Brittany. And I don't know how many years she's going to be there, but she's going to be there a long time because that Putin guy, as much as the U.S. has helped Ukraine and other countries, if you're a Poland resident or United States or England or whatever, and you get caught there in Russia, they're not going to take it easy on you because you're helping their enemy beat you. So that's not going to help either. But wow, that is some risky stuff to do that in Kraptar. Okay? That's risky right there. Scary stuff. I know I would. You couldn't even dare me to do that, okay? Big O, while Miami was TCB, Ravens lost to the Jags, Tampa lost to the Browns, and if the Lions went for it on 4th and 1, they could have beaten Buffalo. Ungrateful fans booing Miami in the fourth quarter. Yeah, that's stupid. Yeah, that was just those are equivocados. Well, what's the English word to equivocado? I know it's mistaken, but that doesn't sound right. So you're, spoiled, but no, it's not really spoiled because this is the first year in 7,000 years that you're 8-3. So you're not spoiled. It's not ignorant, but it is a level of ignorance. If you're booing a team that is 8-3 and surely going to beat Houston, and you got to be smart enough to understand that hell broke loose with the injuries on the line, and yet you're complaining. Like some guy on Twitter was to me like, "Oh, they waited, they pulled Tua too soon." And I'm like, "Are you watching? This game is over." "Oh no, it's not." Give me a break, dude. Come on. Enough already. The game was over. They lost 30-15. They didn't score. Okay? They had to settle for a field goal to get their 15 points. They didn't get the touchdown. So enough already. So there was no threat whatsoever. Relax. And to be booing the Dolphins is they are bumbaclots. That's the Jamaican word, isn't it? Ungrateful, I like. Yeah, I'll go with equivocado and ungrateful. I like that. I'm going to go with ungrateful. That's a good one. That's what they are. They're ungrateful. That's the perfect adjective to tell anybody that was booing in that stadium on Sunday. Besides, you're an idiot, too, on top of all of that. How are you going to boo a team that's 8-3? How are you going to boo a quarterback that's playing out of his freaking mind? A coach that is finally looks like he might be turning things around here in Miami. How in the world do you have the balls to boo? You really shouldn't be allowed back into a Dolphins game for a couple of years. That's really what should happen to somebody that was booing on Sunday. Big O, you don't think Miami can win this week? I have a feeling that they will, but like 3. They got a shot to win. I'm not going to say they're not going to win. I'll give you my prediction as we get closer to, on Sunday. I'll give you my prediction on what I think is going to happen. But they got a shot to win. I'm not going into this game like it's I want to see what McDaniel can do in these kind of cases. This is a really tough situation for him. How does he coach his way out of this? Can he coach his way out of this? We'll find out. Big O, any chance McDaniel has some tricks up his sleeve for this one? I'm sure he's had this game marked on his calendar. You would hope so. He better. I think John Boza was one of the worst Dolphin draft picks. Did Jack squat? His sperm may have had more sacks and tackles than he did. Pat in Asheville, you are correct. Now, if I told you he's not a bust, you're going to get mad at me on this. It's kind of like the Jake Long thing. Jake Long was a great player and then got all the injuries. Everything I'm told, John Boza was the real deal in practice. Eric Kumaro was not. Practice, game, whatever, he was not ever an impressive player. But I'm told Boza was a force to handle at times in practice. The problem was the knee injuries is what ended up making him a disappointment overall. But people tell me that, that go back to that time, that practicing with him, they thought he was going to be a player too. They looked at him and said, yeah, this guy can play. And unfortunately, it was just the injuries. But he does become a bust, and I get it, and all that stuff, and the labels and everything. But it's not like a Deion Jordan. It's not an Eric Kumaro. It's not a Jay Brophy. It's not just bad draft picks. Okay, those are just bad draft picks. This guy actually had it, and unfortunately wasn't able to display it. That's what I'm told by the people that practice with him and were on the field with him, against him, in the locker room, all of that. They said he had it. Yeah. Nobody's ever told me that about Eric Kumaro or Jamar Fletcher or Eddie Moore. Okay. All right. But Boza was one guy that they told me that. So it just bittersweet for all of us, for himself. It's a shame. And his two sons are amazing. And they have their own share of injuries too. They're constantly injured also. But you take it because you get so much crazy production from them that if they have to miss a couple games, then you take the trade-off. It's kind of like Tua, right? He's missed a couple games each year. Well, okay, now you see what kind of quarterback he can be. Well, you know what? If he happens to miss a couple games again and you're only going to play 15 out of 17, as long as you don't make it games 16 and 17 that affect your season and your playoffs, then you're all right. You'll survive. But he's clearly the best quarterback you've had ever since Marino. Way better than anything you had. Finns hammered the Niners 2 years ago with Ryan Fitzpatrick at QB and way less talent on that team. I like their chances. Yeah, but I think the Niners are better now too. Miami must give a little help with a tight end or an extra O lineman. That's all. Tua must get rid of the ball quickly and design rollouts maybe. Mike will come up with something. I agree. And I think you'll see some of that too. Rollouts, all kinds of stuff. All right, folks, it is time. I am out of here. We thank Sean Stanley, who masters this program every single day. Chad Shobe, of course. We thank Ira Winderman, Cameron Wolf, Manny Navarro, all of you that tuned in. Visit our amazing sponsors. We thank you for that, as always. If you made a donation on Cash App or Venmo, remember Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. If you want to make a donation on Cash App or Venmo, if you made it on Super Chat, thank you very much. If you are in the Boca or West Palm Beach area, I am taking off now. I am headed to Boca. I'm going to go to Hijinks Sports Grill in Boca. Should be there by 2:30, I think, something like that. So come on out. And if you're in that area, would love to meet you, man. Take a picture, say hi, talk some stuff, all that good jazz, as they say. I love you all out there. We will see you tomorrow morning at 8:45, bright and early, as we get it going on Wednesdays. Y'all be good out there. Much love.